Rigid brought you the world's first patented curved light bar. Now, it just got smaller, slimmer, and smarter with the Rigid RDS SR Series Pro. This compact single-row light bar conforms to modern looks and projects more lighting to get you further. Boasting a compact design, gentle curve, and the same proven rigid quality, the RDS SR Series Pro is a new, sleek, and sophisticated way to own the night.
"22 years of off-road racing dominance. Proprietary patented race technology. Proudly made in the USA. Unparalleled customer service and support. The choice of champions. King Shocks, the leader in off-road shock technology."
Hey everybody, welcome to Fishgistics live from Baja HQ. Cameron Steele here to host alongside my good buddy Ryan Arciero, my co-host. Are you excited about today's show?
Absolutely. A little more excited about than what took place last weekend, but very excited to be here.
You had to drag it to that already. Ryan's least favorite person in the world this week, Luke McMillin, is here. Adam Householder is here. Mason Cullen is here. We're going to talk later on about San Felipe. First, we're going to talk a little Parker, maybe, because Mason did race there, but he doesn't really want to talk about it. We're going to talk a little King of the Hammers, even though I don't want to talk about that. And we're definitely going to talk some Mint 400, which quite exciting times happening recently. And overall, we just want to say it's been a great start to the year for the off-road world. I think that one thing that we can say for sure, which isn't a topic on our sheets, but the live coverage of both of those big events that have happened this year already at King of the Hammers and at the Mint 400 was pretty spectacular, Ryan.
I tell you what, I mean, I should say easiest way, you know, the best way to bring our sport to mainstream is what's taken place at King of the Hammers and then what we saw at the Mint. I mean, that both of those have been next level. That, you know, if we want to grow the sport and bring more sponsors into the sport to give more opportunities to trophy truck teams, class 1 teams, class 10 teams, we need to do more of what we saw at those two races, and I commend both those guys for what they did.
For sure, absolutely. Luke, you've got to be feeling the presence of that. For those of you that have been living under a rock lately, Luke McMillin second at the King of the Hammers race, the T1 race with Toyo and Monster Energy sponsored, and then at the BF Goodrich Mint 400 winning the trophy truck class. Those are some pretty good stats. And do you feel all those web viewers? Do you have like that increase in your social, or do you feel the contact, people coming up to you, talking to you about it? Maybe more people feeling like they were there than were actually there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we're going to win a race and it can't start with Baja, it might as well be one of those two races because of the coverage, you know. And then we brought on, you know, 4 Wheel Parts this year, and we stepped up our media as
Sponsor
well.
Sponsor plug. Good job. You're learning. Go ahead. I like it. Yeah, good job.
Improving this year, exactly that. So on top of the live coverage those guys had to offer, you know, we're pushing our media and all that kind of stuff more for our partners and our sponsors. So just all that rolling and stuff has been really growing our social channels and bringing in more value for our sport and all that kind of stuff. But no, I think it's awesome. The live coverage is unbelievable, and it's really the future of our sport. I wish we could get it down in Baja, but it's not quite there yet. But absolutely, I got friends and family members who you know, have been texting me and calling me after these races. Just, wow, I actually get to see you race. You know, for years and years and years, no one knew what was going on. You know, you'd call them Sunday when you get home from Mexico and say, hey, we won the Baja 1000, and that's pretty much how they found out. You know, now they're actually watching us live, and you know, I got all kinds of friends texting me or texting my brother, get on the radio. Ryan just got a flat. They all saw it on TV.
Thanks a lot.
You know, and I actually told my co-writer Duncan, I said, hey, nothing on the radio, and we saw Ryan, but the whole world already knew.
Yeah. Just turn the radio off at times, right? Just la 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 la. Don't need to hear it. Yeah. Oh, we're definitely stoked to have all you guys here. Ryan, we'll jump into the Mint in a second, but first of all, Fishgistics coming back with the vengeance, having some fun this year. We're ready to have some shows, ready to preview San Felipe, and it's something we definitely want to bring Austin in quickly just to say thanks for all your efforts. He's been upgrading his equipment, so I don't know if we look better or worse.
We got some cool stuff to show you guys coming up.
Cool, yeah, some really cool stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, drum roll for Fish.
But it's cool. It's stuff.
Do it here, Cameron.
Oh, come on, of course.
It's stuff like Fish does, though, and it goes back to like what we just saw at King of the Hammers, what we just saw at the Mint 400, and what Fish is doing as well to help bring the sport to mainstream. I mean, we have our core group of fans that just love what we do, and they're starving for information. Not a lot of them can go to the races,
right?
And so then it goes beyond that to not just our core group, but how do we touch those people that don't know what we do is cool yet,
And one of the things I definitely think we should mention about the media for our sport is World of X Games has come on board quite a bit. I mean, they're really big in our sport right now. Now, we've been there with Trail of Missions and Ripped Cabo, I think, for 4 or 5 years now. And now we have the SCORE races are there. We have the Mint 400 is there. And King of the Hammers is all there.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's amazing to know that World of X Games is giving us a platform for television. And granted, some people watch on the web, some people stream, some people watch television, and it's amazing to be able to have those partners. They also have a lot of strength when it comes to social media as well, but I used to work for those guys quite a bit when it was, X Games Action Sports. For me, I haven't been doing that for a couple of years, but it's been great to see what that platform has grown into for all of us. And I'm sure, Adam, you are stoked to see everything that's been happening with the television as well.
Oh, without a doubt. My other forms of racing when I was growing up, those friends of mine get to see what we do, and it's pretty cool because, like Luke said, they call you. They got to see it, and so it's exciting to show off what we do.
For sure. So should we talk about Mint 400? What do you guys, Mason? What do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about Parker? You want to talk about the Mint? You want to talk about King of the Hammers?
I didn't go to King of the Hammers or the Mint, but I watched them online, and it was really cool to do that. And for Parker, it was going really well.
This is going to be our Parker review segment right here. Hold on to your hats and glasses, folks. Go, Mason.
One-man show.
It was going really well for us. I got an offer to go drive a 5 Unlimited for a guy that chases for us in Mexico, and me and Busby were going to do the last lap. And he was second physically and leading on time. And then when we got it, he had 10 miles from his last lap, the second lap, he started getting motor issues. And then when they thought they fixed it at main pit where we got in, and then we put it out on the speed limit. And then as soon as we could give it gas, it had the same exact problem that they were saying before. So we limped it to Shea Road and then stopped there, and we got out, checked the car for a couple minutes, and unplugged all the sensors we could do and plugged it all back in and kept going, and it had the whole issue.
So how's Scrambler's tech ability, just out of curiosity?
Honestly, it wasn't bad.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Busby, Scrambler, is in the house here, so feel free to send up any kind of message you want relevant to Busby's tab, Busby's racing, Busby's whatever that Busby has going on. If you follow social media, he has quite the bit of fun. He and Fish are actually good buddies and troublemakers together. But Parker, Jason Voss won the race overall, if I'm not mistaken. Had a great race. Congratulations to Jason. And, I think that Parker is such a spectacular race. It's crazy to think about how much racing we've already had in the first quarter of the season. And San Felipe is also in the first quarter of the season. I mean, that is a lot of heavy-hitting racing. And to me, it's almost like too much front-loaded. I'd like to see it spread out a little bit, Ryan. I mean, is there a way we could see that spread out somehow?
I almost think, and I said you can always be an armchair quarterback, but it seems like the organizing bodies need to talk more. I know their hands are tied too on what dates they can get approved, but it just kills everybody. I mean, you guys know. I mean, between what Adam's done, Adam's had a great year so far, and what he's had to turn around. Luke and Dan, what they've had to turn around, and how quickly they've had to turn around vehicles. It's to turn around any vehicle, whether it's a trophy truck or a 10 car or an 11 car. I mean, to do that many races is a lot of work.
Yeah, you got to have good guys behind you, and because it takes 200 plus hours to prep a truck. That's just one man hours, and to do that, you got to have an army behind you. So,
what do you guys think about that stack schedule and about the organizers and what's your feeling on it all? This feels front loaded.
Of course, we wouldn't want it this crowded. The bright side is that King of the Hammer stepped in. For the longest time we had SCORE and Best in the Desert. King of the Hammer stepped in, Martelli's broke off, and as much as we're a little bit frustrated on the stacked schedule, it's creating competition. We have this live coverage and stuff, so it's forcing all these series to step up. Hopefully, in the positive light, it pushes the those series in our sport to the next level instead of just kind of lingering in the same boat we've been in. I love the Parker race, but it just didn't make the schedule this year. The King of the Hammers race with the purse prize, the coverage, and the competition. It was just we had to go that direction. The same with the Mint 400. Of course, Baja's Baja, but I think all these different series are really pushing each other to be better, and that's what's cool.
Well, I think that Dave Cole really, for a long time with the live coverage, was making people scratch their head. But over the last couple of years, Dave has really spooled it up and has a ton of heart. Obviously, the Martellis are getting right in there. SCORE's been doing quite a bit of live coverage, but they're not able to get in the remote sections because of the way the coverage works. And
you got to understand that part of it.
Yeah.
So but the one thing I do got to say, and I was just absolutely loving it, was the fact that both at King of the Hammers and the Mint, and this is nothing against SCORE right now because I think it's coming, but that we had live timing for qualifying. So you got done and you knew where you're at. You knew
That's
you
what
knew
we
where
all
you stacked
want.
up.
We don't want to wait till 7.
Exactly.
I know. And let's talk about it. Method race wheels, live qualifying. Everybody could watch it. Live timing. Method got in behind that with the Martelli boys and just like, bam, made it happen. And I wasn't there, but I was able to follow along in real time when I was able to watch. And it's incredible because there's not a lot of cell coverage out there, in case you guys didn't know that, in that particular zone.
Yep.
But let's talk about qualifying. Harley Lettner winning the Mint 400 qualifying. Dude's a beast.
Oh
I mean,
God.
the guy can drive.
He motored that thing. I mean, the hood was ripped off. I think he blew a bump stop off. But that's just Harley's fashion. I mean, that guy can wheel a truck, wheel a car. Doesn't matter. I mean, that guy can drive.
Yeah.
So my question to you guys about qualifying is: do you prefer qualifying more right up against the race, or do you prefer having that window where everybody can monkey around with the trucks? For me, I think I'd rather see it closer to the race and less specific prep for.
Like King of the Hammers.
Yes.
So you go from qualifying straight into the event.
I like that. What was critical, the problem with that is that it took Rob out of the race, caused problems for a couple of others. We didn't even make qualifying because we had an air bubble that ended up disappearing on its own, which is a crazy story I haven't even told. We went to the start line of the race last in row with the water still spiking in heat. We went off the line and it vanished. The craziest thing. Yeah. But I'm more of a fan, maybe not right up on top of it like that, but I like that shorter window for sure. I think that having too much of a gap allows people to do too many changes. And I know SCORE at one point was saying you weren't going to be allowed to change transmissions and some other parts.
Yeah.
Which
It's
I
hard
think
to monitor that.
Huh?
It would be hard to monitor that. You'd have to impound them, and that's not going to happen.
I miss the days of impounding them. Do you miss that, Ryan?
I kind of do. Where you kind of had you had to run what you brung, so to speak, and you put your best effort in, and you have your race set up, you qualify your race setup, and you impound it and turn around and go race it the next day or 2 days later.
What do you think, Luke?
Yeah. I agree with you, Cameron. I like it backed up to the race. It's really cool. The Mint 400 time trials and all that stuff. It's a really fun day. I had a blast driving it. I'm not hating on it at all. It was a lot of fun. However, it's become like its own little event in itself, and it's kind of gotten, I don't want to say out of control, but it's like we said, we're changing gearing, we're changing this and that, and then we're driving the wheels off the things to the point where we're blowing bump stops off and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, is that really what I got to do to get a good starting spot? And that's kind of crazy. Whereas if we just back it up to the race, it's one big show. Have your truck ready, if your transmission breaks, if you have an air bubble, sorry.
See, here's the thing too: is typical. We've been like, other than King of the Hammers, which King of the Hammers utilized the race course for qualifying. Yeah. We didn't in the Mint. We're a standalone qualifier. We don't even race out there. And like for SCORE for the San Felipe race, I'm assuming we're probably going to qualify in something we're not going to race on. What do you guys think about that? I mean, I'm assuming.
While you're at it on that question, what do you think about an 18-mile qualifying course versus 4? Because at King of the Hammers was it 17 or 18 miles, right? I mean, it was a long way.
I prefer more miles. Because I think for me it takes me to get into a pace. I'm not, I can't get after it in 3 miles. Yeah. So I'd like to see more miles qualifying.
I think it's cool because it was something that was on our minds for a long time. Let's get more miles in qualifying. However, it's kind of funny to me. It doesn't matter if we go to SEMA or if we're doing an 18-mile qualifier out at King of the Hammers. The stack up is just about the same. The good drivers, they make their way to the top. Yeah.
Mason, what do you think? You prefer the longer course, shorter course qualifying? You like it further away from the race or right on top of the race?
I've never qualified for off-road, but when we would qualify for Lucas, you'd get 3 laps. And like Adam said, it takes me a little while to get into my groove and actually be able to do the fast lap. So I would prefer if you could run longer miles qualifying, but I don't think a 25 or 20 mile qualifying would be worth it. I think maybe a 10 or something.
Yeah. But the thing too, to Luke's comment, is the fact that you need and want a good starting spot. So you're running the piss out of these trucks in order to get that. And so
let's talk about that
a
little bit, because I think that King of the Hammers, I actually kind of said the night before, I said, what if we don't even qualify? What if we just wait instead of using up our truck? What if we just wait? Everybody here is solid. We might get in a little bit of dust, but does it really matter if we're?
It's just space everybody out further. Is that what you mean?
I mean,
there was
the spacing was cool.
Yeah,
I felt like I was leading the race all day at King of the Hammers. I never, I didn't see Bryce and Andy up ahead. Of course, we had 2-minute gaps, and they were hauling the mail, but the gaps were really cool. I do like qualifying though.
I do too. No, I was actually saying that it didn't matter if we qualified, and then I jinxed myself because we didn't get to qualify.
Yeah.
I think qualifying's. I think it's way safer for the sport, in my opinion, just because then you get a line of cars kind of in a proper order of speed. One of the things that scares me is trying to pass people that aren't at that speed ratio, because you're never sure what they're going to do.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Faster closing time, speed, Ryan?
I mean, you saw. With the Mint, we grouped in some of the slower guys in with us, and when we're lapping them, the closing rate between a trophy truck and a Class 10 car, even a trophy truck and a trophy truck spec, when you're running through the bumps and you're running down the dust, it's a big difference. And you come up on that, you're forced to have to drive hard to get up to them so you can get around them, especially how the way the Mint played out, because we were all stacked together, so you couldn't you didn't have you weren't fortunate enough to sit there and say, okay, let me just play us by ear for a little bit and see what happens. You had to force it, and that's the last thing you want to do, is to force it with a slower car in front of you, because there's dangers to that. You could end up taking them out. You don't mean to. It's not like I'm you're meaning to cream somebody from behind, but it's kind of what it's forcing you to do.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's hard because we all kind of started in this sport by just making our way up, and it's a hobby. It was a hobby to all of us. Now it's kind of turned into a different deal, but these trucks are going so fast now. They're so big. They're so heavy. It's almost crazy having us out there on the course with not only slower vehicles, but less experienced drivers. A lot of these top trophy truck guys like Ryan and Cameron and Adam and everyone here, we've been doing it for a long time. Our families have been involved in a long time. We understand we have a really good common sense out there on the course, where sometimes you come through a turn and there's a guy, might have an issue, may not be able to move, but he stopped halfway through the track just going like this. It's like, dude, figure it out.
Yeah.
You should have dove off that track if you knew what was coming. You know, so that's really scary as well.
I think Adam has the most experience out of all of you guys, and the best experience because he raced the 1450 class.
They were all over the place.
I don't think any of the other guys. Cameron did before too. Actually.
We actually have a podium in the 7 truck, I think, in 1450 at Battle at Prim one year.
So there you go. Big advantage there.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, one of the most fun times I had racing in the last decade was that Battle at Prim in the 1450 truck. There's so much, because it was a random draw, there was a lot of dicing, but you're not going as fast, Now, granted, some of those guys now in the 1450 cars, it's like, they look like trophy trucks, or at least they make them go like trophy trucks. It's crazy. I don't know. But we had some fun when we did that for sure. Speaking of fun, so qualifying was a good time. What was the amount of loop there? Was it about 4 miles?
At the minute, it was 4 miles.
4 miles? Yeah, so how did you end up qualifying, Luke?
I qualified 4th.
More than you wanted? Now you took Dan's spot, which is a little bit upsetting.
Our truck was built in 2014. We're out there against these Gibbs motors and these all-wheel drive motors and stuff. So we dropped the gearing in my truck and we push it hard. But I never risk it qualifying. So I was very pleased with the top 5.
Neither do I. Never risk it at qualifying.
If you watch our
we
in-car
did
video,
crash once, but that was at practice, not actually in qualifying.
If you watch our in-car video, it's just kind of we just drove it. We brought it all the way through the RPMs and hit our braking points and that kind of stuff, and it landed us the top 5, and that to me is exciting to see. Of course, I want to win it, but at what expense, So I'm glad to see. For me, I was stoked that we were able to run a somewhat conservative pace. We didn't look crazy through the bumps or anything. We were able to pull off a top 5, which that there's a success for me.
And you're also with a good group of guys that are going to go fast as well. So the chances of them holding you up during the race is kind of far and few between unless they have a problem.
Right.
So. Adam, what about you in qualifying?
So I ran my dad's Baja truck, so 6100 truck. We ended up 5th, so we were happy with that. And qualifying's tough. It doesn't matter what group you're in. There's a lot of fast drivers even in the 6100 class. So with 5th, it was pretty good. Like I said, I like to work my way to the front, and it worked out good for us.
How many 6100s were there for this race?
Well, so like I said, this race they split it up. They called them Baja trucks. I think there was 22. I mean, so there's a good amount of there.
That's amazing. I mean, it's
Split them up. What do you mean?
So Best in Desert last year, known as 6100, they have smaller motors, smaller tires. Well, this year they changed the rules and allowed to bring the SCORE TT specs with 6100. Well, Martelli Brothers didn't change the rules, so they called them Baja truck. So we have the bigger 525 motor, the underdrives, 40-inch tall tires. So that's why the class was split. And majority everyone changed to abide by the rules, but it's a fun class. You know, my dad enjoys it. I enjoy it. Just it's a good stepping stone class.
Too.
It's a very competitive. You know, there's, like I said, a lot of fast driver even than that, you know, and I see the speed of the trophy truck and doing the 6100, and, you know, we still get after it.
What did you think about the rule change as far as going to 40s and going to the bigger motor, going to the underdrives? Were you for it, against it? Because I know it's kind of mixed between a lot of people out there.
Oh, we were for it. First off, for us, it helps us out. You know, the trophy truck's on 40s. Now I don't have to carry different tires, different transmissions. Third members are the same. So we were for it, but it made the class better, less flats because of wheel issues or flattening wheels. You have a better tire. So all around, it's a great class.
What did you qualify? We haven't got that part yet.
We qualified 7th.
That's a great spot.
Yeah. No, I was still really happy with that. You know, we didn't change gearing. We pretty much qualified exactly what we raced, and I just wanted to get a decent spot and to get a decent starting spot, and we accomplished that. I had one good one coming to that last cross grain section before you get to the finish line, and I just hit one of the squared off bumps a little to the side, and it threw me up on the side. Everyone's been seeing
picture.
pictures. Yeah, pretty cool picture.
You posted it.
So I posted it.
Yeah.
I was 3 away from going, and I was looking out my side window. I could barely see through my helmet, past my mirror, watching. So I want to see how Ryan comes through these bumps, and I'm time all the bumps. I said, good. Whoa, shit!
Sideways.
You know, and then it's good. I'll see you keep flying over that next one. I said, okay.
That's in the right hand turn.
That's just after the left-hand turn as you're heading back to where the pits are, where the start is.
I saw the video of you coming up over the hill, like kind of floating it in the air. That was pretty incredible at qualifying. It was a good shot.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was we ran up the first wash, and then I knew it was open on the backside, and we didn't lift. I don't think we lifted since the start, all the way to that downhill, and then it was just about a breaking point and how fast you can hit that G out at the bottom.
That G out at the bottom is nasty.
Yeah, and we
sure.
hit it, and the truck took it really well, and it was smooth. But yeah, we came over that. It was pretty light across that whole top of that that rise right there. But that was fun, and it was totally. It was planned. It was something that actually my co-rider Jason Duncan was riding with me, and he rode that course with Toby Price a couple years prior, and he told me, he goes, hey, we're floating right over the top of this. I said, all right, let's try it, and I won't do it if I'm not comfortable, but sure enough, we got there, and I dropped it in second over the hill, and it just floated right on over. It was pretty cool.
No big deal.
No, handled it.
Right on. For those of you just joining us, we're doing a recap right now, talking about the BF Goodrich Mint 400. We're going to be talking about the San Felipe 250 a little bit later. Right now, Ryan Arciero, Adam Householder, Luke McMillin, Mason Cullen in-house. Our winner of the Mint 400, Luke McMillin. But let's back it up a little bit, because Harley led early and led commanding. And we all know Harley has a huge lineage inside the sport. His family's big time when it comes to off-road racing. No one can deny Harley's success or his speed. How big of a lead did he end up getting before they had a problem, and what was the problem? And either one of you guys can answer that.
Well, I know what the problem was, and I think his lead to us at the time was like 7 or 8 minutes, something like that. Mm-hmm. And he ended up losing something in the engine, and they don't know what, which is very odd for that's a Gibbs engine. And
are those big block or small block?
They're big block.
They are big block.
So that's a beautiful package.
Yeah.
It really is. So I don't know. It was just something freak. And who knows what it was, because we had the same package, and ours ran flawless from start to finish in every race we've run so far. But yeah, I think it was about 8 minutes or something.
Yeah,
like
I think
that.
That's what I heard. I heard 7 at some point, and then
Yeah.
I even heard the number 9 minutes at some point, but I'm not sure. Somewhere 7, 8, 9, right in there. He was
That was the biggest
he was
lead
moving.
I've seen a trophy truck have
Yeah.
at a race in a long time. Like on a loop race like that, the gap was
Yeah.
the biggest one I've seen in a while.
And unfortunately, Concrete Motorsports, Kevin Thompson gets in the truck, right? It failed when he got in the truck. Is that what happened?
I don't know
He
if
got in at the pit.
He did.
I was told
Okay.
he got in. Some people in the pit actually thought that the motor was blown up then, so they reported on the live stream that he had a blown up motor, but it just sounded bad at that point. So Kevin got in for a little bit, and then a little while later, it actually finally did let go.
yeah.
Because I think they were actually stopped in that pit for about 7 minutes because I heard, I'm not positive that they had to add water
Yep.
or maybe a head gasket, and I don't know. But yeah, I remember we got back in the road because I was coming up the bumps at the test area, and I got over the radio. I said, "Hey, Harley's got a motor. He's out." I said, "Okay, thank God that finally happened."
Yeah.
So we weren't gonna do anything about that. So okay, it happened. And then when we got to pit B, I think I was right behind Ryan. I was right behind Ryan at the time, and they got going again. I said, "Oh, they got something obvious, some electrical, something small that they just plugged back in, and here we go again. He's gonna start running." And then I think it was just a mile or two later, or at some point, really soon later, he pulled off, and that was it for the motor.
Talking about this race and the attrition, definitely a driver I think we should talk about that not a lot of people are talking about is Kyle Jurgensen. Kyle had a great qualifying run, finishing in second in the Brenthal truck. And, man, he ran a great race.
He's a driver, man. He wheeled that thing.
He's definitely a wheel man. So what ended up happening? So did Kyle end up taking the lead when Harley failed, or he failed right before Harley did?
It's a good question.
I know you guys were in the truck.
I think he had. I don't know if he got a flat, and that's where I got. That's where I got around him. Because I said, I know where Luke had gotten a flat. That's how I got around him, and same with Bryce. Bryce had a flat coming back in the main pit, and Bryce was actually gracious enough. We were coming over the solar field bridge, and Bryce pulled right over and let me go by, and that's how I got by both of them, and that was pretty much in the same.
So Bryce, when Harley failed, Bryce was the one that moved to the front.
No, that was the end of lap 2 when you got your flat, right?
Right, end of lap 2.
Same with Bryce.
Yeah,
and that's when I got by both of you guys, and then it was Kyle, and I think, and then Harley.
So you were leading.
So
yeah, when Harley failed.
When Harley failed, we took over the lead, and I think we had passed Kyle in a pit, and I think he was changing a tire or something like that in one of the pits, and I don't know if you guys got by him as well in the pit or wherever he was, and then he just jumped in behind the group again.
Yeah. How much I mean, you guys are obviously getting information from your teams now with the live coverage all over. You guys are able to know kind of everything that's going on in all the pits. It must be. I mean, it is incredible for me when I'm in the car to hear all the data that we're getting.
Yeah.
But that as it's happening and developing and these little things that you might not usually know, it's pretty cool to get that information.
Did you guys have anyone on your team specifically watching the live feed to look for information of what was going on?
We had guys on their cell phones or talking to friends who were sending the information back. Yeah. And I know for us, because we had a plan. We put a plan in place. We knew this was going to be a tough race no matter what, especially that lap 4. As everyone's always talked about, and once Harley was gone, kind of Lucas said a second ago. I mean, there's nothing you're going to do about it, because I wasn't comfortable trying to run a pace like that, knowing that there's no way my truck's going to last. I just don't think I just don't think it'll do it. So it's trying to be smart and be patient enough to tell yourself, okay, forget about that. Let that play out. Let that party play out and see what happens. And then it was, the rest of us were I think on the same plan. Run a conservative pace, still run fast. It's not like we were running slow, but really see how this whole thing plays out. And it's and that's what ended up happening is we ended up getting grouped together, and we all kind of ran the same pace pretty much for 4 laps.
Yeah. No, that's what Kyle Jurgensen texted me after the race. He said, "Hey, that was fun playing musical flat tires with you guys." It was pretty exciting. I think I remember coming in on the end of lap 2 is where I had my flat. Harley was out front. I pulled over to change it. We had to dig with the jack a little bit. Bryce goes by. Jurgensen goes by. I said, "Okay, they started in front of me. That's okay. We already got them. We'll catch back up." And then there goes Ryan. I said, "We got problems." So then we were, we were 5th on the road. We go over the solar bridge. Bryce pulls over for us on the lake bed. He has a flat tire. I'm coming in. I said, "Hey, guys, we got to re-rack a tire faster than Bryce can change one." We come in, re-rack a tire, pulled in front of Jurgensen. He was actually pitted right in front of us. He was doing a main pit there at main pit. Luckily, I had my brother, who's also a racer, who was giving me perfect information. So we got Jurgensen there. Menzies actually went back by while I was racking. He was pitted up ahead.
Orange can change some tires quick, huh?
Yeah, he's changing some. Yeah, very quick. We changed the tire, then they made it all the way to the main pit. while I was racking, they went by, and then I went by while they're in their main pit. So then we were third on the road, headed out for the third lap. I was right behind Ryan, and then that's where we got Arciero. And every single time we went through pit A, Menzies was 20, 30 seconds off me. And lap 1, I said, okay, that's okay, because he got a flat early. So that's okay. You know, I'm a little bit worried that it's Bryce. That's his home track. It's Bryce Menzies. I think he's one of the fastest drivers there is. Actually, he's,
for sure,
in my opinion, the fastest driver there is. Maybe Harley Letner. But Bryce is amazing. And so I was a little bit worried about that. But each lap, he was right there. And it was interesting because I said, okay, lap 2, Bryce is going to be smart. He's not going to come through the dust, but he's got this all-wheel drive. It's going to be fast. I'm a little worried. Lap 3, again, 20 seconds off me through pit A. I said, okay, we're getting closer to the finish. He's going to make a move because he's got to put some time on me. Lap 4, I said, he's got to be coming for me. There's no doubt. And I think he ended up losing front drive. Luckily, that slowed him down a little bit, and then we were just following Ryan. But it was pretty crazy. Laps 3, 2.5 through 4, I mean, us top 3 guys were within 40 seconds of each other. It was pretty intense, and it was just literally just hanging out, waiting for each other to make a mistake. Just don't get a flat tire, basically. Because we were all inverse. It was Ryan, me, and then Menzies, where we had all started the opposite way around. Yeah. So we all had to pass each other to make it happen. So we were just taking our time.
Well, before we get to the end of the trip, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, please talk. Well, no, I was just going to give my side of it as well. Is knowing, like, once I got around both you and Bryce, and then obviously Kyle had his issues, and then Letner had his, and Kevin Thompson. I knew, like, for probably the last quarter of lap 3, and then for a lot of lap 4, I dropped the pace down a little bit, and we were working our way through lap traffic as well at that point, and so I was also getting a little frustrated. I'm like, okay, I got to get around these guys as quick as possible because we come through on lap 3, come through pit A, and boom. I mean, I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at Bryce. I'm like, okay, come through pit B, and they're like, it's 30 seconds and 40 seconds. I think it was at 20 seconds at one point, and then 40 seconds, and then we go back to the last lap, pit A. Boom, I see you. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at Bryce. And I'm like, okay, no mistakes. I said, I just got to get to the point where it gets dark. And so if I can get to the night, and because at this point, the truck's running perfect, everything's been running good. We didn't put a toe out the entire race, and we stuck to our plan, and it was coming right to us. And I'm like, no mistakes. Let's get around lap traffic. So our guys are telling me where guys are at. Like when we're coming through pit A, they're physically going to the guys and pointing at them, telling them to look that I'm behind to see if we can get them to pull over, so we're not fighting with them. And I was able to get one guy to pull over, and then just slowly started making my way through traffic. We got coming down the lake bed near Night Ranch Road before pit B in that last lap. I ended up losing all rear brakes, so the pedal went to the floor, and I'm like, oh man. And it's just now dark, so I'm like, okay. I said, I got a choice. If I stop at pit B, our race is done. I said, for sure they're going to go by because they're right there. Right. I told Travis, my navigator, I said, we're just going to suck it up. I'm not going to even tell the pit what's going on. I said, because I don't even want them to put anything in my head. We're going. That's all there is to it. And I told Travis, I said, zoom out on the GPS and the fast roads and just walk me into the corners because I got to get off the gas soon and just try to pump the brakes as much as possible with a little front I have to make the corners. And I'm like, I felt confident in the fact that with it being dark, I can still maintain enough speed to keep you guys behind me at that point.
Right.
And so I felt confident with that. And it wasn't too much further past pit B, I think 10 or 12 miles or so. And it was just all of a sudden on our dash, we saw the left rear just start ticking down. And I'm like, man, for 3 3/4 laps, we hadn't put a toe. How the hell did we get? What happened? And we're on the best tires, bar none. And I think you guys can agree with me that there is an off-road racing. And but it was just something unlucky. The stars didn't line up. It wasn't meant to be. And we pulled over and just had a slew of jack problems in the process. Because I knew if we can get a change, even if you went by, if I can stay in contact, then there's still a race here. Yep. The problem is when Bryce went by too, he ended up having a front diff problem. So it would have been difficult at that point if I got stuck behind Bryce's dust. You would have been able to start pulling for me. So
I got a question for you because this is going through my head the entire lap 4. Truly, what I was thinking here. I'm thinking Ryan's experienced. He knows I have to pass him to win this thing. Mm-hmm. Is he taking it easy to not get a flat tire and he's just going to let me hang out back here? Or are you going to try to get that cushion of a flat tire?
100% back the pace down. So, because I knew in my head.
That's the compromise right there. You go, am I just gonna slow it down and just make dust and let this guy hang out 20 seconds behind me and hope we go all the way, or do you got that motor and you got really fast truck? Do I put that 1 minute, a minute and a half cushion on them just to have a tire in your back pocket if you needed it?
Here's my thought process on it is I knew lap 4 was going to be such crap anyways, just because of the terrain. I mean, we've just worked these trucks for three and a half laps already, and I know the rear gear is sensitive, and are we taxing the rear gear? So I'm like, I got to play this smart, and I said all I got to do is keep him behind me. I don't care if he's 3 seconds behind me.
Right.
It doesn't matter as long as he's behind me. So I backed the pace down and made sure I wasn't hitting anything, and just making sure we're super fluid. And it wasn't like I backed it 50%. Down, I probably backed the pace down another 20-30%, enough where we're maintaining speed where you weren't going to because really in dust, I mean, you're going to get to that 20-second mark ish, and that's about where you're going to stay. So especially at night,
Absolutely.
Well, and also on that point in the race course too, once you get to that section, you know that you're on pretty much a one-line race course. Granted, there's a couple little offs, but not like where you have a parallel line or something where there's a couple spots earlier in the race that could happen. But at that point, you're like, hey,
Ryan's not going to pull over. Ryan's not going to, even if he sees Luke coming up behind him, he ain't going to pull over.
In my opinion, you made the right call.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to put the cushion, you got BF Goodrich tires on your side.
Yeah.
The odds are not good that a tire is going to go down.
Exactly.
If you got maybe a different brand, you're rolling dice that you're gonna pop a tire on the way in. Be honest, right?
Yeah.
Build that cushion and get ready to change a tire. You got BFG on your side.
Yep.
All you gotta do is walk it in.
For sure. And we had 3 laps of no issues, 0. I mean, it's like it was magic at that point. Everything was just going exactly the way you wanted it to go until it didn't, obviously. And we've all been there. Which sucks, but it is what it is, and my hat's off to you, because I mean you also played an experienced side too, because you could have easily tried to push even harder because you knew you had to get in front of me, so because you had to put time on me. But there were so many places on that last lap, and any of the laps, but let alone that last lap, for you to smack a rock being in the dust, and then it would have really screwed your whole race up.
Right.
So then Bryce would have got by you.
Yep.
So you
I was
were
in the same predicament.
You were in the same predicament.
Same predicament.
So,
And I made the same choice. Once I got past you, I said, drive it in. You have one job, and it's to not hit a rock.
Yeah.
That's it.
Any questions, Fish, that we got rolling in? Anybody got anything interesting to say?
They wanted to, or I was going to point something out. I know all you guys, most of you guys are BFG tires, but there is no magical tire. As we saw here, they all can get a flat. So everybody always says that they have the best, but they all get flats.
Well, BFG's magical to me, but you're right.
I'll second the magical.
Yeah.
Definitely second the magical.
Fish is going PC because he's Fishgistics.
No, not
We're
PC.
BFG athletes. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
There might be some that get more than others,
the
but they
on the
all
internet.
get
We're going to
flats.
talk about it.
Absolutely.
So going into the race, a lot of people are talking about the favorites, Rob Mack and, of course, Justin Laughlin, both incredibly fast and really good at this racetrack. They kind of hung out there in that top 5 or just behind for a while there. I'm not sure what problem Rob had, and I don't know at all what happened to Justin, but they were in the mix, and then all of a sudden they were gone. It's a bummer. I mean, good for you guys to be able to race without them at the end, but those guys are definitely a couple perennial favorites that didn't have the race they were looking for.
Right.
And I know Rob said, he had bad luck at KOH. He didn't even get a chance to take the start of the race, which sucks. It's unlike him. And I don't know what other problems he had at the Mint. But he was behind me for a while. He was about 30 seconds off me because I was fighting in Laughlin.
Yeah, he was in that mix.
He was right there. We stayed right there with each other. I think he ended up getting a flat, which screwed him, and which put him back. And then Laughlin got a flat as well, which is where I got around him. So we knew off the start we got beat by we went side by side with Laughlin. He had the inside line, and I told myself, I said, if we get beat off the line, let them go. So I'm gonna let them go. We're gonna get through the infield and then get myself so I can at least see as we leave out of Prim.
Yeah, no sense in destroying their visor right off the bat. That's
Exactly.
the worst.
So and it did already because of that, because I think they watered it way too much off the start. It was
There looked like there's some slipping and sliding going on.
It was.
Yeah. I took off with Dondell. You can imagine what that is, a twin turbo all-wheel drive. So, okay, well, what are we going to do here?
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the first turn and hit the dry dirt on the inside. Not cut the turn, but use the dry dirt. And sure enough, he went floating out to the cushion. Yeah. Goes around the next jump and uses the twin turbo again and comes back up on us. It's pretty wild. It's just like, wow,
I think
it's
he's
going
got
fast.
that thing spooled all the way up.
Oh,
Josh
without a
Daniel
doubt.
style
Oh,
on the start there.
Dale Dondell, of course.
Yeah.
So going back to our story, so you got to tell the viewers too, like, so what went through your mind and your co-driver's mind once you saw me pulled over? Because we're 3/4 of the way through this last lap. You know,
Yeah.
Really, you know, the road I got the flat on was kind of the last of the crappy fast rocks, and then you kind of get into the technical all the way back
Right.
around, and so we're kind of in the home stretch here. So what was going through your head?
You know, I left pit B and there was nothing I could do. I said, well, this is what every good racer would tell you. You know, get through the first 3 laps and just be in position to have a chance on the 4th lap. And that's where we were. So I wasn't bummed. I said, hey, we did what we had to do today. You know, Ryan got by us in one instance, but we did what we had to do today. Keep your head down. Let's go get a podium. And truly, I'm going through pit B going, you got San Felipe in 3 weeks. Just take the podium, you know. So I said, okay, I'm going to follow Ryan. And then when I came around that turn, I saw your lights. Went through my head a couple of, that looks like Ryan. I said, no, hold on. That looks like Ryan. I think I just saw Ryan. And my co-rider goes, that was Ryan. I said, yep, nothing on the radio. You know, I got the chills. I'm like, okay, we got 40 miles to go. And literally, you know, I have a hard time focusing. So I'm sitting there. I got my beat going in my head and going, focus on each individual turn. Don't look up. Don't think about anything other than each turn that you're in. And that's the key for me, is just staying focused and then just driving it in. You know, I had a couple times I'd get the chills and I'd get teary-eyed going, no. Way too soon for this, dude.
Yeah, you can't talk about
Put
it
your
until
head
it's
down. So I
crossed.
just told my car to stick to the plan, call this course out the same exact way you've been calling it out, and I drove turn for turn all the way to the finish.
And who's your co-driver? Just for people that don't know.
Jason Duncan at SDG, who does an amazing job. He's a good friend of mine, and he stepped in the truck this past year, and we've really developed a lot together, and it's really paying off. So I got to thank him.
Congrats.
He puts in a ton of time for me, and does an amazing job.
Yep. Well, there's something to be said about being in the right place at the right time, and then you know, for that day the stars aligned for you, and my hat's off to you, and because it was not a tough. I mean, it was a tough race. It was not an easy one at all.
We had a similar situation at King of the Hammers. We were running second in the Ultra 4 in the Laser Nut car, and you know, we're going across the dry lake or getting to the dry lake, and I'm pretty sure that's Bailey Campbell right there. Like, you know, so on time we're good, or we're off a little bit. She had passed us, but we're not stressing about it too much. And when you come off the end of the lake bed, as you guys know, the hill climb that I couldn't get up pre-running in the 2-wheel drive, you have to drop into a hole first before you go up, right? So, you know, we're going across the dry lake bed, and I'm kind of paying attention. You know, we're going 100 plus miles an hour. And I never really saw the dust, but we came over the rise, and Bailey Campbell's parked on the side of the road. I'm like, that's kind of interesting, Wayne. Mm-hmm. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we were one of the few teams that went out and pre-ran that new canyon back there, which we had ridden the top part of it on our dirt bikes before. That was terrible. So I was super worried about it. I was like, I can't believe they're going to send us down this canyon in our Ultra 4. Mm-hmm. But when I got there, we were at the bottom of it when we pre-ran, so I was super stoked. But I know that, you know, every time that happens to us, when we pass like whoever was leading and you get there, you're like, I'm always like,
yeah. We've been here.
Say
you know,
nothing.
I've got one big one. I feel like I should have 10 because I've been there before, and it's just there's no time to get excited too early because I've been kicked in the nuts many times.
Yeah. So you won the Laughlin race in the trophy truck.
Yep.
Adam Householder. So
Yep.
a big win on the season. That's your second trophy truck win, correct?
Third.
Trophy
But it's
sorry,
been a while.
Sorry,
No, you know what? I won my first 2 back in 2011, so it's been a long time. So you know,
on that one.
Laughlin's tough. You know, it's hard to beat Voss on a good day.
It's hard to beat Voss anywhere.
Yeah, without a doubt. And so, you know, it's one of those things. I was stoked on a podium and came around on the last lap. He had some issues. It's like, all right, you know, second's good. We'll keep on going. And then when you come around the corner and you see Abdali broken, you're like, I'll take it.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
I'll take it any way. Yeah. And that was it. We didn't speak for you know, last mile or two. And it's like, all right. So pretty happy with that. You know, but I had a lot of seat time there. I also raced my dad's 6100 truck there too.
That's
so
your old trophy truck, right? The 6100?
No, that sold. We both have Herb's
you
trucks
did
now.
sell it. Oh,
yep.
okay, gotcha.
So both of our trucks are identical. So I got a lot of laps around Laughlin. So you know, it definitely helps out.
Right on. Very cool. So are you racing for the Best in the Desert Championship?
With the 6100, we are. Didn't have a good Parker. Just ran out of time. Didn't have enough testing. Had some converter issues, but we clearly solved that. So with the 6100, we're going to run Best in Desert. Trophy truck, we're just kind of picking and choosing. Our next one will be San Felipe, of course.
Just a trophy truck at San Felipe, though?
Just the trophy truck.
Yep.
Right on. Well, I'm looking forward to talking about San Felipe. Wow, SCORE's really put together a heck of a course there. Anything else you guys are thinking? We're talking Mint 400. Anything else that's happened in this first quarter so far?
Well, I think what I'd like to do is bring Chris Crampton over here, and
sure.
so we want Chris to talk a little bit. We have my crew chief for the 32 Levi's Trophy truck, who was with me in the truck last year when we had an unfortunate crash, and Chris was paralyzed, and this guy has been working his freaking butt off, and so proud of this guy. He came out to this year's race, and that's I wanted that win so bad, and I wanted it for him. But Chris has been making some huge progress as far as walking again, standing again, and but he's just been a true inspiration, and it was so awesome to see him and his family and his little boy at the Mint this last time, and I think it was an emotional time for you. But how you doing, buddy?
It's all good. Like I kind of told you guys before, I was here just for a fly on the wall. This is the anniversary of mine and Ryan's crash. So I thought, what better way to celebrate it? Why not celebrate? Let's celebrate it. Let's turn this negative into a positive. Because this injury is 90% mental on recovery. And being out at that race, am I close enough? Being out at that race at the Mint this last weekend, I can't thank the Martellis enough. They were gracious enough to get us some tickets in, and the whole thing kind of started as, I'm going to email the Martellis and see if the Spectator is even wheelchair accessible. And they said, yeah, no problem. How many tickets do you need? I said, well, it's my family. I said, there's 8 of us total that are going to be there. No problem. And I was like, wow, that kind of started the whole weekend. We ended up getting out there, and my number one reason for going to the Mint was to meet the rescue workers that extracted me from the truck. That was my number one goal, and I just wanted to say thank you. Like, there's nothing else I can say except thank you. And it was seeing them was such a relief of it kind of just put a little like icing on the cake of just everything's going to be okay, because being able to stand, which was huge, and give everybody there a hug was absolutely incredible.
And you made a point of it too. Like you literally made a point. It's like, no, I'm standing and I'm going to give you a hug.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, my recovery has come along so well. I mean, I'm getting some balancing in for about 30 seconds with my hands over my head. But yeah, just made it my point to be able to stand and give those guys a hug was huge. Even you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Like, anybody I saw that I haven't seen in a year, didn't matter. I was giving them a hug. And some people were getting kisses too.
We don't hold that against you
but
at all.
like, I can't tell you how incredible the weekend was. It was like I told Ryan, and my wife and I have talked about it. I said, anybody with a serious life-changing event, whether it be injury or something along those lines, if they could experience what I felt at the Mint this last week, would give them just this huge push in recovery. I mean, it literally, we started talking about it, and we're like, okay, so that's a team of 100, that's a team of 50, team of 25, and you start adding up the fans and everybody else. You guys were talking about an army. There's an army behind me pushing to get me better. And just the random fans going down Fremont Street, seeing them when we're on the podium,
Yep.
seeing them there, and just talking and say, dude, I'm watching you. You're so inspirational. I cannot believe what you're doing. And for me, it's become my job. Like, my job is to wake up in the morning, do my stretches, do my routine, and then go 3 days a week and work my ass off. Yesterday was brutal because I sat in my wheelchair for 4 days and my legs were complete junk. But yeah, like I said, like, anybody who could just get a little bit of positive, because I know that this injury can turn negative so fast. And I've had a huge support from the Arciero family, from the incredible Washington family. And the guys in the shop have been so supportive too. Some of them, I said, dude, I need to get out of this house. I'm freaking out. I see workout and I see the house, and they'll come pick me up and they'll take me to the shop for the day. just to get me out of the house, which is awesome. Like, I'm here today just because I kind of wanted to get out of the house, and I said, let's celebrate the anniversary of this. So, like, hats off to Luke. Like, while I was watching you all day, man. And then I'm like, oh, come on. But, like, I can't imagine a better family to win the race.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Your dad, I missed. I really wanted to see him. Your dad and I have become kind of friends through this.
Yeah.
I was able to talk to your sister. I met her at the finish line, talked to her for about a half hour, which was absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
That was truly one of the highlights of my weekend.
Wow.
But just little things like that. It was just sequence after sequence after sequence of an incredible weekend that we had no idea how it was going to add up. And it was unbelievable.
Well, it was so inspirational just watching you and just watching the smile. And I know you had tears almost the whole weekend, but I know they were tears of joy. And it was just seeing that attitude on you and kind of getting you away from that daily routine element that you deal with every single day. Because I can't even fathom, can't even imagine what you do every single day to try to get yourself back to walking again. But just remove yourself from that situation for one bit and just be around people that just love you and just want to hug you and only want the best for you, want to be able to see you walk again. And I said, just seeing you want to stand up and give hugs to everybody. I said, it wasn't even an option to give somebody a hug when you were sitting down. You're like, nope, I'm standing up. So that was freaking rad. So
Standing up to the door, like my friend Eric Harden and his co-driver Ross, like being able to just pop up, stand at that window and literally reach through and give the co-driver a hug. It feels so normal.
Yeah.
And there are times during this recovery, like I'll be sitting here, we'll go to dinner or whatever, I'm in my chair, but the injury fades and you're just with your friends and family and you don't even think about it. Everything just seems normal. And then dinner's over and you realize you're sitting in a wheelchair and you got to roll out instead of stand up out and walk.
Yeah.
But there are times where it's normal. This morning was crazy. I kind of had another first. I was on my feet and my hands doing look like a puking cat. I don't know what they called in the yoga, but
not downward dog, right?
I'm like, babe, you got to check this out. You got to check this out. And she comes over. She's like, what are you doing? And I'm on the side between that bed and the dresser in this position. She's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, like check it out. I'm in a new position. Like I've never done this before.
Just to show you like Chris's attitude, I said you might not want me to say this, but I thought
no, I don't care. Go for it. I have no secrets.
I thought it was funny as hell. So I get a text. It was probably I think it was about a month ago. And Chris sends me a text. He says, I peed. And it was like, I mean, it's funny. Obviously, it's not for the situation, but it is because that was your attitude. It was like this. It was life-changing. You actually peed on your own.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's a huge step forward. But it was just so funny that you're like, I'm crying. This is freaking awesome. That just goes to show you his attitude.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's all positive. Like and even. Like my little Instagram I made for just my friends and racers just to follow my recovery. Well, behind the scenes, it's turned into people reaching out because they need help. And that's where it really has kind of gotten me is I'm pushing hard for my family because I want to be able to kick my ball or kick the soccer ball for my 2.5-year-old. That's what I want to do. Whether I can run, I don't really care. I just want to be able to stand and hold my kid. But behind the scenes, these people that are struggling because maybe they're not fortunate enough to have the same medical care that I had. I didn't have people fighting. Like Ryan and my wife and Red Todd at the shop and Ed Herbst, they were fighting so hard at the ICU that I didn't know about in Vegas to get me to the proper location for the surgery. So there's so much behind the scenes, but just the people that have an injury, it's really kind of a shame that there isn't more for them. Because a spinal cord injury, a lot of people, like they said, they just take them and they put them in the corner, right? There's nothing we can do. And that's not the case. It's really not. I personally have witnessed so much in the last year of other recovery of spinal cord injury where I go. It's purely for paraplegic and quadriplegic recovery. And they are incredible there. And seeing the other people recover in front of me and behind me, and it's all mutual. Like we all talk. It's like this. It's like a racing family, except it's an injured family. And we all share. There's no secrets. And it's an incredible place to go. And it's actually just right up the street. So.
Well, definitely. I mean, it's amazing to hear about the recovery. No one ever wants to hear about someone getting hurt. Your attitude is incredible, and I'm sure it's inspiring to many people when you start talking about spinal cord injury. I, for one, have seen this firsthand with some of my best friends, And to see and hear the way you're talking about it is really amazing, and to know that there's always hope. There's always,
Yes,
hard work pays off.
Don't get me wrong. There are days that it is brutal, but they have been so slim, and it's usually coming off of medication. I'm trying to kick all the medications, and I feel great after I get off each one. I feel better and better and better. But there are days where it's brutal, and you just don't want to deal with the injury any longer. You just wish that you wake up the next morning and you're back walking again. It's like it was a bad dream. That's not the case. I mean, I'll be honest, there were a couple of days where I was really upset with Ryan, but it's not his fault. It's just decompressing the injury. And so, like I said, I just wanted to be here just to help celebrate. I didn't mean to kind of talk so much, but
well, we're stoked to hear about it. It's great to hear about your recovery, and we look forward to just keep following along and seeing it progress.
Yeah. I mean,
we're proud of you.
Thanks, man.
We're very proud of you. Don't
tell me it's awesome. Like I said, like everybody's support is pretty incredible. I love it.
It's only a matter of time before you're kicking the ball.
Oh, I know.
Harrison, it's only a matter of time.
Like I said, that balance is crazy.
Yeah.
So
good for you.
We can't wait to see it, and we're going to move on. We have one more race in this quarter of the year. As far as I know, it's called the San Felipe 250. And when we come back to Fishgistics, we are going to talk all about this course map that Jose G has laid out. We're going to have some new trickery from Fishgistics, right?
Yeah, hopefully it works.
Provided either Ryan or myself. We might actually have to have Luke run it because he's a techie guy. I heard that there's something like 100 VCPs, but there's actually
over 100.
Well, hold on. I heard there's 37 additional Luke McMillin VCPs.
Oh yeah. And Luke, I did get a message from Jose. He said he's not going to remove any VCPs right before the race.
Oh yeah, okay.
he said to let you know specifically.
Give us the course and let me race.
He said this is not changing. He wanted to make sure you knew that. He said.
So when we come back to Fishgistics here at Baja HQ Live, we'll be talking San Felipe with our esteemed panel of drivers and experienced talent, so to speak. And we look forward to seeing if Fish actually has his act together with this. We'll see. We'll see if we can pull it off. We'll be right back here at Fishgistics.
Rigid brought you the world's first patented curved light bar. Now, it just got smaller, slimmer, and smarter with the Rigid RDS SR Series Pro. This compact single-row light bar conforms to modern looks and projects more lighting to get you further, boasting a compact design, gentle curve, and the same proven rigid quality. The RDS SR Series Pro is a new, sleek, and sophisticated way to own the night.
22 years of off-road racing dominance. Proprietary patented race technology. Proudly made in the USA. Unparalleled customer service and support. The choice of champions. King Shocks, the leader in off-road shock technology.
Welcome back to Fishgistics, live here at Baja HQ. We are ready to talk San Felipe 250 or San Felipe 320 of it, maybe.
A little bit shorter than last year,
Yeah.
not by much.
Ryan Arciero, myself, co-hosting today, and it looks like
Hold on.
Fish
Well,
is
Fish,
on the course.
Fish, you need to do your disclaimer too. You never did your disclaimer.
The PCI banner has been raised by Poppy the dog. It has been lingering about. Busby's going to get her offset. Thank you, Brian. Mason Cullen, Luke McMillin, and Adam Householder in the house still with myself and Ryan. And Mason, Class 1 champion from last year for SCORE. It's got to feel pretty cool to kick off the season, get back to where you left off. Is it more relaxing coming in as a champion and knowing that you can accomplish that, or is it more stress feeling like you have to defend something like that? Where are you at in the spectrum of that?
Kind of in the middle. Like, it's more relaxing knowing, because we didn't win a race last year. We were just consistent the whole year. So we know we have a car that can finish every race no matter what. So that's like the relaxing part. But my dad and I split it, and he's won every race down there multiple times. So it's like more pressure on me.
Your dad's pretty good at this.
Yeah, but he's never had a championship. He's never had a season's points championship till last year. But
You
he's
guys
won
were able
everything.
to do it together.
Yeah, that was the cool part. So we did it my rookie year together, and now we get to go back down with the 100 plate. I think he's more stoked than I am to be able to have that with his last name on it. And so, yeah, it'll just be a really fun year to go down and fight with the Wilsons again. Brock Dickerson's coming back down in a one car, so that should be pretty exciting. The kid's really, really
He goes
fast.
pretty fast.
He goes fast.
Yeah, we used to race each other in short course too, so there's history there. But I think it'll be a fun year, and it'll be fun to be able to campaign with the 100 plate and see what we can do.
Will you and your dad? Will you and your dad be splitting up the races again?
Yeah, yep. So I'll go
You go.
San Felipe. I'll go the start to like Morelia, and then get out, and he'll get in. And then we're deciding on the 1,000 if we're gonna have a third person or we're just gonna split it between the two of us.
So you mentioned short course. How was that transition from short course to desert?
I think short course teaches you way more than you can ever learn in a desert car. I grew up in the desert, and then made the transition back to short course. But I think it just teaches you like momentum, because I started in 16s, short course and desert. So both those cars just teach you like how to carry your speed, and short course just makes you way better with car control. Like, you can see it in Brock Dickerson, like when he qualified at Laughlin, he's like a Harley. Like, the car is doing absolutely crazy stuff, and he's 100% calm in the car because we're so used to flying door to door with each other and sliding into each other. So it just teaches you like more car control, I think.
What about making any transitions out of Class 1, like any trophy truck or trophy truck spec? Anything in the future?
If someone wants to let me drive their truck, I'd do it. But we are in the works right now with Aluminum. We're building a new tin car to race in the States. That's my dad's favorite class. That's where he won all of his races and stuff. So he wants to go back to that, and it's like one of the most competitive classes right now. I don't know, maybe further down in the future we'll get a truck, but as of right now we're just buggy dorks.
We've been there.
We're all
We've
just
been
buggy dorks, really.
Yeah, we
I
all
don't
been
know.
there.
Adam, are you
The whole
buggy
panel
dork?
here
Yeah,
is.
I won Laughlin last year in a one car.
Making sure.
Was it a real one car, or did
That
you
one
take
was
your
a real
body
one car.
off?
Yeah,
Fish
no.
coming in, shot over the bow.
That one was a real
Fish
one.
coming in high. All right, let's talk some San Felipe. Recap. What happened last year? Can anybody remember what happened? I know.
I remember.
I think we finished 6th.
Didn't Ryan almost have the same thing happen that just happened this last race?
Ryan was right there for the win,
Yeah,
but
I
he
don't know
didn't
what's
quite,
happening
that
here.
didn't
Jeez.
quite finish. What happened there?
This is becoming a.
Well, we
habit.
wouldn't hammer you as much if you hadn't won the 400. But
I
since
know,
you won
I
the
know.
400,
I redeemed myself in the
you know,
400,
we're gonna
yep,
give you
yep.
a little bit of heat. All
Yeah,
right, so get ready to take
But still,
it.
you can give me a little bit of crap.
So Andy ended up winning last year.
He won after rolling the damn thing. I mean, I seriously think he's got a golden horseshoe shoved up his ass. But
You said that at the end,
I
live
love-
on Fishgistics, by the way.
I love that guy. He's an incredible racer, man. But it takes a bit of luck as well. You know, with our sport. As much as you want to say it's you know, you're planning, you're pre-running, your driving abilities. Sometimes it just needs to fall in your favor, and it did for him. So It was a weird race because obviously we had the draw for last year's race, and so it put a lot of the fast guys.
We started 36th, in case you're wondering.
You started in the back. You started in the back.
No, Dan started in the back, right? Dan started behind us.
Dan was 37.
Weren't you like 15th? Or?
I was up in like No, I was somewhere around 12, I think.
12, okay.
Because I changed an entire steering pump and was
That's
still
right.
second on the road. I was
Yeah.
like, where is everybody?
Yeah.
You know, so I think
I
still
was
have a
back
shot
there just cruising around. It was our first race in a new truck, so there's a little bit of teething pain there.
Yeah.
But Dan did work on us. He passed us, actually. You don't get
Dan-
passed a lot racing trophy trucks if you're racing towards the front group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Dan
Andy's-
passed us, so hats off to Dan on that.
I think last
Luke
year,
McMillin, or
Andy
Luke
started
Johnson passed us too.
Yeah, he was
we were
very
cruising
fast.
a little bit.
very fast.
Did you guys all see? There was a truck crash there, like before Morelia Junction. We went super slow through there. It was kind of gnarly.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
That was.
We were
I
the
think,
second
I think it
on
was
the road at
Wadosla.
I think you're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was he crashed at Morelia Road or was he
Before,
crashed at?
before,
Okay.
whatever
Yeah.
truck it was before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a weird. And then you had Bryce and Andy in the back as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I started second to McCackern. McCackern was first. I was second, and I got by Rob when we got on Diablo. He was starting to have some transmission problems. I passed.
He
him.
ended up being parked on Diablo, right?
No, I passed him when
him.
he was running.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was running.
No, I mean, but later was that
Rob
this
was
last
parked.
year?
No, we hung a left on Highway 3, and Rob was right
parked
there to
there.
the right. He was right by our dually. I
Yeah.
remember. So, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
We got one.
So and I didn't know at the time we did our pit on Highway 3 further up near San Mateus, and then took off. I just told the guys, just make sure you give me a word for first car. Make sure I stay there. So not knowing at that point how close everyone was behind me or how far they were. I know you were right there.
Yeah.
And then once we took off out of that pit, we go up over the summit, and I get to the other side, and every once in a while when I could look backwards, I couldn't see anything, and we were having MSAT issues, so I couldn't get any splits until I can get to the
Ask
pits.
your navigator. You see anybody
He
back
said, "You
there?
back there?" He said, "No, I
He's
don't
like,
see
there's
anybody."
nobody back there.
I mean, it was 15, 20 minutes
Yeah.
or something, or something like that, which just doesn't happen
Yeah.
in our sport anymore.
We were down 19 minutes changing a pump. Got on the road. We finally got past. It was Jeff Geiser in the Smiley truck, and then Chris Miller.
Yeah.
Then we got to kilometer 90. So okay, where is everybody? So
Yeah.
the only guy ahead of you is Ryan. He's ahead of you by 12 minutes.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah.
You know, who's behind me? I said, well, Andy rolled. I said, okay, well, that's good. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, we cross Borrego, and they go, Andy's there on time. So, what did he do? Land on
Yeah.
his wheels? Yes, he did.
Yeah, we didn't know anything. I ended up getting a flat. I said I backed the pace down, not knowing anything. And I say backed it down. I backed it down less than I did for the mint, but just started playing conservative, and ended up we got a left rear flat. That was 100% my fault. The truck stepped out, and I hit a stump, and it blew the tire off. Changed it and got going again, and then my guys, everyone was still Andy and
Bryce was in the mix,
It was
right?
like 30 to 40 minutes. Physically, they were back, so my guys had to move to the next pit, so they couldn't even get them on time. So I didn't know anything until we were making our way towards Zoo Road, and by that point, you're at the last stretch. It's too late. So I just did everything I could to get to the finish line, and we sat there. You came in, and then finally Andy.
Did it go Andy, Luke, Ryan, Dan?
No. Were you third? You
I
were
was
third.
first
You got moved
across.
second. So
Yeah, I was-
Andy won, and then I think my brother was unofficially second
Second.
overall. Ryan third. I think I was fourth or fifth.
Yeah.
I was six, right behind you, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And
then
then,
Dan got a
Dan
penalty.
got a small penalty for speeding penalty, bumped him to third overall, and I think you guys were all within 50 seconds of each
Yeah, it
other.
was real close, yeah.
And then I was down 19 minutes. We ended up losing by 7, which resonates some frustration in me, but we're gonna take that out.
I
on
think
you
you're
guys
going
this
too.
year.
You're going too fast, Luke.
Apparently.
We've led this race a couple times and finished second, and the race has frustrated us.
You lost a rear gear right at the bridge. I mean, you're spelling the finish line.
Yeah,
was heartbreaking.
that was a heartbreaker, man. I'll tell you, to be that close to winning our favorite race, and to have that happen. So we actually had a couple shockers, finishing second, I think twice, and then having that happen. We led the whole race 3 years ago, and Rob beat us on time. We had something happen. I can't remember what happened. Oh, the car kept going slower and slower throughout the day, and it was a computer issue.
I was
So-
18, right? When you got second. Rob won. It was
Yeah,
Rob,
18.
you, then me.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we had a
It was fun
computer
race.
problem. When we came out of Matomi, we couldn't go over 85 miles an hour. I was like, well, there's a lot of big bumps there, but it didn't want to go, and it kept getting slower.
Speaking of which, I'm glad you just mentioned that. We could say this now, or we can wait till we get into it. But we're hearing some. Maybe we'll get into it later. But we're hearing some tidbit of information about just south of Morelia Road from SCORE. So maybe we'll get to that when we get
We'll
to
get
it.
that from Fish.
You want to look at the map?
Let's
Let's
look
take
at
a
the
look at the
map.
map. Who wants
Okay,
to look at the map? Raise your hand.
here's the disclaimer. We're trying a new program. If this freezes, give us about 2 minutes and we'll restart the stream. Let's hope it works.
Oh, so you're going to shut the stream down if it doesn't work.
If it
Well,
freezes,
if the computer
it's not
freezes, I
Cameron,
have
it's
to
not my
restart
fault.
it.
Okay, so it's
Hopefully
definitely,
it'll work.
if anything bad happens, it's
You're on.
Luke
All right, there
McMillin's
we go.
fault.
Look
Whoa!
at that. We can
Zoom.
zoom in.
Ryan
zoom
Arciero
out.
at the controls. I'm going to co-drive for a minute. Well, I'm on the right side, so I guess I'm in the co-driver's
Absolutely.
seat. Let's take him to the start
Okay,
line.
let's look at the start here.
So Cameron and Ryan are now in control. Just so you guys know, this is not me getting crazy on here. This is them. So yell at them.
I want to ask Luke, how many hours have you spent studying this course so far? This course.
This one.
I don't think that file's out yet. We have a paper map, but I overlaid it. But I've got probably 83 hours studying it.
80. Good number. Good number. I see where you're going with
I
that.
was laying in bed the night before the mint. I think that's when this came out, or maybe it was the night before. One of the 2 days before the mint race, I was San Felipe pre-running.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
We're sick in the head. I tell you, we are. I mean, you're getting ready for the Mint 400, and you're looking at the map, and I did the same thing too, just trying to get my head wrapped around it. But yet
No,
we
I
have
go
another
through
race
it.
in front of us. We
Well,
are
sometimes a little distraction's okay.
It
You know,
is.
you don't want to be overly
Yeah, no, for sure.
too much. And so you notice right away when you look at the map here that we're going to be starting right in the middle of downtown. I know there's a speed zone there. What do you guys think? Everybody a fan of this, starting right downtown on the Malcon, finishing there?
I like it way better than the Arch.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
way cooler.
Yeah.
Way cooler, especially the finish part.
As soon as you finish, you can get tacos and beer, like instantly.
Straight
so it's
to the
great.
bar.
Yep.
Yeah, oh, I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I hope they continue that, which it looks like it is. It's
Busby
working
says
for them.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Busby's giving us the thumbs up.
And obviously, when we leave there, we leave in a speed zone until we hit the dirt right there out of town.
Some zigzagging out of town, and it looks like we're coming in from similar. We're going out from a similar angle we came in from last year.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. But I did notice here, Fish was quick to talk about the information he has from Jose G. That there are how many waypoints did you say?
It was
VCPs?
137, I believe, VCPs. So quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few for a 320 something mile race.
Luke, have you seen this section right here? Have you ever driven on this section right here?
No, where are we at?
This is
Right,
going. I believe it's a pole line
it's
on the right,
interesting,
the
though.
old road on the
The
left.
pole line's to the right.
Yeah, so it's interesting because they got 3 VCPs saying stay on that left line, stay on that left line, stay on the left line 3 times in a row. Do they want you there the whole time? Because I'm going to hit that VCP right there, and I'm going to hang a right.
There is another
And then
VCP.
I'm going to come back in and touch that one and go back
If
in.
if I was smart enough, I could maybe figure out what the distance is between those two VCPs. Ryan's looking, but he's not going to go for it. He's not. This
Yeah.
is the Zoo Road crossing
And
here.
you notice we have the speed zone back.
I think it'll drop a pin and then you can touch again.
You got your ruler there, the third one up, I think.
They put it on the wrong side of the table.
Well,
No.
are you saying you want it, Mason? You guys you can drive this thing. Go ahead, Luke. You drive.
I don't know what app you're using.
We're gonna come into the road crossing at Zoo Road.
But 2 years ago we had that speed zone as well going across Zoo Road.
Right.
We know how crazy it gets over there.
I'm a fan of the speed zone there. I know that
I'm
it's.
all right.
I didn't have a problem with it at all.
I at one point was talking about with other racers that we should do a self-imposed speed zone in there, but SCORE has done it. I think it's definitely.
It gets so nuts.
Especially- yeah.
It gets so nuts with the crowd in there, and the last thing we want is obviously somebody to get hurt.
Yeah, and especially this race, just looking at the course, a lot of teams are going to use Morelia Road
Yep.
as a chase
Chase
road.
route, yeah.
That's
You know what? While you're talking about it, Luke, I wanted to say that in San Felipe or in any race, chasing is just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than actual racing. So the teams, you guys need to be courteous. Don't make aggressive passes. You know, drive the speed limits. Be cautious of all the dust on Morelia Road. You know, while one class is going out, the other class can be coming in with their chase trucks. So everybody just needs to calm down. And if I had my druthers, I think it would be good if it was, you know, one way in, one way out. But you know, I don't think it's, you know, SCORE can't do that or whatever. But it's just everybody, please be careful on the highways, the chase roads. Always just tone it down a little bit. If you're going to be late for your pit, you're going to be late for your pit. Just so be it, you know.
It's not worth the accident.
not worth it.
It's not.
Luke and Adam, let's talk about this because this is a fun zone right here. Going up the poles
Yep.
out of Zoo Road. Everybody likes this part.
Yep. I like the big bumps.
I like the big bumps too. I think it's
Yep.
one of the spots where our truck really performs. And my personal opinion, that's a spot where our truck, a two-wheel drive, might have an advantage over the four-wheel drive.
Yep.
My personal opinion. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's a little bit more of a leveler between the two, for sure, as opposed to like in a sand wash or on a graded road. So,
Luke, you don't have an opinion? You're not saying anything because you're getting a four-wheel drive? What is it?
No, I mean I got both, and I might even plug a big block in my truck. So I that's the best of both worlds. I don't know. I'm actually not sure yet. There's some places the all-wheel drives are very fast, but there's some places that they're not as fast, and I haven't heard anyone put their finger on that point yet. And I haven't either. I'm trying to figure it out, but there's somewhere they're giving up some time, and I don't know where that is. I don't think it's in the bumps. I think they're pretty quick in the bumps, but we'll see.
What do you think about the buggies, Class 1s? They used to overall San Felipe. I think, did you overall it maybe, or your brother? No? Or just won it, right?
My brother
he won
ended
it?
up second overall once in the Class 1, but I
think
he
Armin
won-
did.
Armin Schwartz.
Armin.
To Robbie.
There you go.
I was like
Yeah.
10.
What do you think, Mason? Do you like the big pumps in a Class 1 car, or does it get a little sketchy?
They can more than a truck, but our car's so heavy it kind of just plants and goes. It'd be nice if we could run 40s on our car, but we're stuck with 37s, and they still do fine.
Yeah.
It's better than a lighter buggy, I'd say that.
Yeah.
So this section leaving here, Luke, this is different than it had been in years past.
Right,
But
it's
similar to
interesting.
what we ran last year, right?
Yeah. Well, they have this. This is exactly what Jose G's talking about, where I kind of threw a fit right before the Baja 1000 when I studied the race course. I made a really good line into a VCP, and all of a sudden at the drivers' meeting, there's no VCP there. So, you know how much work I cut in the trail getting a VCP there? So
They promise
it is
you won't do it
interesting.
again.
The traditional bumps, but we're off to the right there, and they VCP'd it. So it'll be interesting to see who goes out there, hits the VCP, and heads back to the course, or who has a really good line through there to
You
hit
can
the
see
VCPs and have an alternate line.
you can see the other line. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Someone's gonna
The
make one.
magic of the internet.
I know. And it's pretty much it's that same running all the way back to Highway 5 when we jump right on into our first or second speed zone, that is third speed zone rather, where we follow the highway there.
Luke, what's the first thing you notice about this zone after the speed zone?
Well, they didn't pick the straightest line. There's a lot
No
of lines
VCPs right there, though.
There's no VCPs. Yeah.
There's no VCPs. Yeah, I call that whole section just the K159 bumps. And there's just a million lines. I think there's one really good one that's developed over the years. Looks like it's available, so that's exciting.
Would you like to point it out to
I'm waiting for someone to go out to the left with a tractor and just
you go.
mow something. I'll go out there. I said one day Steve Menzies is going to bring a tractor out here. So I'll drive out about 2 miles to the left just to make sure Steve hasn't done it yet, or Mr. Jones.
Jesse would probably be the first one.
might have- Funny how those things get around like that. The talk out there. Silly race car drivers.
So then it looks like it turns left and it's backwards from 2 years ago, San Felipe.
Yep.
Yes, and this goes by this quarry here.
Yep.
You guys can see, and there was looks like they'll make the short turn onto. Is that the road section, Luke?
Yeah, I haven't
It's hard to
I haven't
tell.
seen
Yeah.
the KML file, but I do know.
I haven't seen it either. That's why I'm asking.
I've had it.
This is a Fishgistics exclusive, by the way. It will be released to the public on Thursday.
Fish
it's
has
really
got
interesting because that's an area that I do have a lot of concern with. I think that's where BJ mowed down a easy up once.
Yep.
And the course was marked off to the left at one race, or when we're coming out. Now it's to the right. And I said, hey, do we know that there's a graded road over there and that I'm going to take it? And do the spectators know that?
Yeah.
That's what's really scary. So I hope they mark the good line through there, and we can pre-run it, and hopefully the spectators will see that, hey, this is the marked course, so they're coming down this, rather than the marked course is off to the left on a bad line. Let's use this graded road as an access road.
Yeah.
Well, here comes some of the good pre-runners down a graded road. So I really hope they focus in on that area.
And the hard part is too is sometimes you don't know it. You know what line you want to take and what because you're pre-running, right? You know what your spots are, and all of a sudden you get there and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, and you're thinking about the alternatives too. You go, okay, if I get down this line halfway and there's a truck parked here, where am I going to go?
Yep.
What, Ryan? I know we were talking about the names of the washes earlier. Did you have that nailed? You can say that.
You know this one?
I believe that's Cuavitas.
Cuavitas. There we go.
Wash.
I knew it started with a C.
Yeah, that's Cuavitas
It's actually
wash. It's pretty cool.
It's a fun
because-
one. I actually enjoy it.
There's some good lines in there too, and we don't. It hasn't been run to death, so that's really cool.
There definitely is some lines in there. I mean, you can just see that where the water flow is. I'm assuming, looking at Google Earth, you can see the different flows, and I'm not sure how they mark the course or how they choose it, if they just decide to go haphazardly through there, if they pick the best line from a previous race. And some of these lines may not be lines; they may just be water running through their run.
Well, for sure, and the lines change too, depending on how much water is run through there during the winter. So it could be, what was good last year may not be the best this year.
Yeah. What's really unique about that wash too, Quevitas, that I've really enjoyed is it's not so obvious. What you think is obvious is not so obvious. I've seen some pretty good drivers make some mistakes in there, whereas you got to really study. Are you taking the short line here, or are you taking the line that you're going to carry your momentum?
Sure.
That's the key to that wash. And then especially after we get out of that wash, are you going to stay in the wash? Are you going to go up on the high ground on the right or the high ground to the left? Because once you pick a line leaving that wash, you're stuck on that side, and all of a sudden you're watching a dust cloud out to your left, left of you, and you're wondering, wow, did I make the right choice here? But there's a lot of different lines leaving that wash.
We talked about all the different VCPs there are. There are a couple in this wash area here. I'm not sure you can see that really well or not, guys. Adam, what do you think so far from what you're seeing here?
I like it that they make it technical, at the beginning. It makes you, really have to pick your lines, because that's where you're going to make your passes, is right off the start, because you're going to be so tight. But from there, I like when it gets open up and gets rough, because that's where we excel.
So it goes back to this area back here. This is I'm not sure if it's the exact same spot, but there was a spot in here where there was some really loose sand, almost like silt conditions, when we were going the other way.
Well, you can see all those lines just in that one section right there. Like, look at all those different lines. They really want you to stay on that one, since there's so many VCPs on that one line.
What's really interesting too is
back here,
part of the rules.
Back, Austin.
Yeah, just see on the sides there. A lot of those are lines. Yeah. On both sides there, all the white lines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those are all little washes right there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But one thing to bring up though is part of our rules are hit the VCPs, and you got to be in a wash, wall to wall, and wash.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, where's the start of the official start of this wash and the official ending of this wash? And this Quevitas wash is notorious for climbing right out of the wash on the high line. That again, that's something we could focus on, and that's really interesting.
Yeah. And it's most of those too are after you enter the mouth.
Luke's
of it,
now driving the GPS, you guys.
Yeah, Luke is in control of the course now.
Adam's getting jumpy over there. I can see.
I told Luke after the minute, man, my goal is just to follow him and find his lines, because he's got some good ones.
He's watching. Yeah, Luke's not going to show you the lines right now.
No, I know, but that's my goal when we're pre-running.
If you see the McMillin pre-runners park,
that's right.
Find a high spot and sit there and watch.
That's right.
I'll be sure to show you the wrong line. Yeah. No, it's terribly annoying. We've had to scramble our channels now because of a certain someone tends to be on our channels, and all of a sudden, hey, let's go to K149, and here comes a black truck with Monster on the side hauling ass there. So, where did you get that? Where did you get that info?
What?
So,
we never listen to your radio.
Come on.
We don't.
Yeah.
But we do see you sneaking around out there. I used to be able to sneak around on my bike and just watch people.
We've had
like
a lot of
I
fun
didn't
together.
pre-run the bike. I would just sit there, but then people started figuring out I was watching them.
It's pretty fun. If you get a chance to pre-run with Cameron, it's a kick, because you're out there, you got code names, and I blow it every time. I can't, I'm focused on the course, and I'll say, hey, Cameron, nope, it's Nighthawk today. Oh, my bad. And we're out there with shovels and stuff, jumping on the ground, hiding from Menzies. We've done that before. It's a lot of fun. But,
that was that one time we were hiding at the end of that wash was pretty epic. Now we hide all the time, and we love to team up with Luke and Dan because it's just a good time. Everybody's laughing all day long.
For sure.
All right, keep driving it, Luke. Keep it going.
Yeah, so
are we running out of time? We're telling stories.
Most of only at mile 60 though.
Don't
we
yell
got
at me.
300 to go.
Don't yell at
Luke,
me,
you were talking about multiple lines in that wash. It's just for those that have never seen it before too. As you enter the mouth of that wash, you're pretty much in that canyon running when you first enter it. So you're running with the wash. I think it's about halfway through or so when you finally start getting to the point where you start having multiple lines left and right.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's probably right when you leave race mile 50, about VCP 52. After that's when it really opens up, and then maybe even after 23. Again, I haven't had a chance to study this exact map yet, but after about VCP 23, it really opens up. So the first half is more of a wash. The second half is use the high lines or stay in the wash, if you'd like.
Is someone taking that number now, 23? Because Dan vacated that, right? He moved numbers?
Yeah. No, he's 17 now, so he was ready for a fresh start.
Anything
new truck.
behind that number?
17?
Yeah.
Nope.
Just randomly
He
picked
liked it. 83 plus 17 is 100, so 100%. That's what we're doing.
There we
Really?
go.
I thought maybe it was because his favorite number was 16, but it was already taken, so he could take the next second best number.
So anyway, that's a really fun wash. And then it looks like we're after VCP 25, we're making a hard right, which is kind of new. The next section isn't new, but connecting there is new.
Yeah.
Over to Borrego wash, VCP 29 and stuff, and it'll be interesting to see what lines they force us through Borrego wash. Borrego wash, a lot of fun, high speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's again tricky because you're on a race line where you go, oh, this is a really fast, good line, but little do you know, 100 yards out to your left, there's an even faster line.
Yeah.
But off to your right, there's an even faster line.
The thing that's crazy, I'll just tell you, honestly, I mean, just to try to find your way through that one section that you were talking about earlier next highway, you could spend, so much time in there just looking around, trying to connect all the different trails, just trying to hit the exact SCORE GPS to make sure you're hitting all of that.
There are so many options. It's not like one or two roads once you leave Highway 5. It's not like one or two. They're all over, and they crisscross.
Oh, that's crazy.
And so it is. It's a little bit of a mess.
Yeah, looks like they're keeping us in the wash this year instead of up on the high road right there.
Is that a VCP?
Yeah, VCP 30 right there. Where usually they'll kind of force you up on that high road and a pole line road and stuff. So it looks like they're keeping us down in the wash, which I think is the right move. It's a lot of fun.
Just a update here. I just got word that back towards the Zoo Road section, the King Shocks zone, King Shocks is putting up $4,000 in cash or $5,000 in product to the winner. Fastest person through the King Shocks zone on King Shocks. So we're just in Adam Householder stoked on that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
I just like seeing all the sponsors getting behind it, and I always try to give respect to, even if it's a competing sponsor, especially when they're sponsoring the race. I try to say the name of the sponsor, even if it's a competing sponsor, because it's
Here's the thing,
respect to them.
Here's the thing, though, is we need the competition.
For sure.
We need the King and the Fox and the BF Goodrich and the Toyo and the Yokohama, and we need we need that competition.
Yeah.
The Monster and the Red Bull. So that all breeds to make the sport even bigger and better.
For sure.
So anyway, I wasn't prepared to drive here, but you go down the entire.
You're
Borrego
obviously
Wash.
the best driver here. You just won the
retired.
race.
Yeah, we
Why
retired.
wouldn't you drive?
Go down Borrego Wash. That's a fun wash. It's wide open.
It's
and stuff.
interesting, since I don't know, I don't remember running it this way that long. I know we've gone to the same where the hard left is.
Yep.
But we came from the other direction, from
came
over
from
by
the-
three poles.
we came from the bottom and looped around.
When we were kids, and maybe prior to Luke pre-run out there, we used to go all the way, along to three poles and then up the other direction.
Oh, yeah.
That brings back some memories.
We used to
from
cross.
when we were a kid.
We used to cross Highway 5 and go to the beach side and run the beach side, which was kind of cool too. That was a lot real cross grainy over there.
Yes, it still is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fences over there. You can't drive over there anymore.
Oh really?
No.
Oh, interesting.
But then you're going to hang a left at VCP 34, and if this top loop isn't familiar to you,
This is the
I don't
same
know
as
what
the
it is.
1,000, right?
Yeah.
Close to it.
Where is
similar.
the-
I mean, the 1,000 kept going north, but even when you look at old San Felipe maps where they go up and they make this U-turn, we're actually cutting it short. If you look up at VCP 43 and stuff,
Yeah, different.
we're not going all the way up to the pump station. It doesn't look like we're making a U-turn there at VCP 42, kind of early, which is nice because anything north of that, to me, there's not that much that's separating. I'd rather get down south and run
So
all
is
those
this?
washes.
So this is south of the pump station, and we're actually going to junction. The return is after the washes, right? So you're coming in right where you get into the Red Rocks.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
We did this for San Felipe 2 years ago, and then we did
The
it for
same turnaround?
We did it for not the same
we
turnaround,
went
same
further up.
direction, and,
Right.
then, and then we did the same section all up to that VCP for the 500 2 years ago as well.
What do you think so far, Mason? This is your section, you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty fun, technical, but I'm just glad I get the lake bed at 133. Yeah, that should be really fun.
Perfect. You like to go
So,
fast.
so coming
Yeah.
back through here, we call what is there a name? Do you guys have a name for this wash or any of this?
I just call it, north of Borrego on the El Chinero side, staying on the right side from VCP 38 up to VCP 43. I just kind of call that the El Chinero side of things. That's what I learned from my dad. And then when you make the U-turn, you're just coming down from the pump station headed towards the Borrego like normal. That's pretty much all I call it.
My dog's trying to open the door over there in case you guys are wondering. That's what that noise is. She can't open the doors. Anything that has a handle, she can open. So coming down to that wash, one of our team members, Mike Payne, Nimrod. He likes to call it cacahuate wash, but I think it just means pencil, or no, it means peanut, right? I'm not sure. But
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's just
Sounds
funny.
good.
He calls it. He uses
We'll
the
roll
big
with that.
inflections. And makes
Where
it
is that?
really
Like
loud.
mile 110 on this map or so? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
My eyes don't allow me to see from
I
here. Luke
think you're
has to
talking
drive
about
it.
110. Yeah.
So then how does it come down, Luke? It looks like it comes down and transitions back into, does that go through that traditional old military inspection place that's out there? Across that white dirt, or is that different?
Yeah, no, that,
That
looks
looks
like
the
the
same,
traditional way down. And then I also, it looks like we used to have some big shortcuts in here.
Is there some VCPs in there? I can't see.
And it looks like they VCP'd us
Beat it,
off
yeah.
to the old course.
So they're keeping us on that. Keeping us on that line because there's two or three lines in there before you jump out of that.
Yep, absolutely. So this is just absolutely brutal. You know, it's just the square. It's square edge from 40 years ago.
Yep.
You know, it was kind of funny. We're watching. I got a video sent to me after one San Felipe. I was chasing Rob. It was the 1993 San Felipe or something like that. And one of my friends sent it to me. He goes, "Rob was literally racing the section the day you were born." That's how well he knows that section. I said, "Yeah, he's got a few years on me." But that's really rough coming down into Borrego. Looks like the
Some of
normal.
those, I mean, you get into those like you're climbing one of those hills, getting up out of the washes, and
Yep.
it's good 4 foot, and it looks
Right.
like they're
You're just
dog's trying to
bucking
tell me
Bronco
something.
going up.
yeah, you're just trying to
those of you
get
that
up on
can't see it,
top,
dogs
stay
in
on
my
top of it,
lap.
get to the top.
See what's outside.
Um,
So far we're coming back to the Borrego Road crossing. Is this making a
making a right turn on the highway, it looks
Right.
like. So you come across the Borrego jump after VCP 54, then turning right on the pavement.
You guys
which-
jump it or you don't
Speed
jump
zone.
it?
Jump it.
Jump it.
I don't jump
Maybe
it.
not like Tavo. But,
Oh yeah.
Tavo,
Oh, yeah.
man. He's on a
Tavo's
whole other level when it
sending
comes to that jump.
yeah, so.
Well, there's a couple little rock croppings once you jump
Yeah.
on where you land. So
Exactly.
I always think about that when I jump that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every time I jump, I go, that wasn't the
And
smartest
a million
thing.
people.
Yeah, yeah.
And not
coming
to
down-
mention all the people that are
Other
there.
people, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It just throws the truck sideways, and
No.
you know, we're in control, but you get kicked just wrong, and you're not in control.
Yep.
It's that easy.
So it looks like we are running the highway all the way back, all the way up.
Yeah.
Because the speed zone starts right there.
Does it say
Say
it
speed
has
zone
a speed
start?
zone there?
Yeah,
starts there?
speed
Yeah.
zone.
Yeah, it looks like 37 mile an hour, which I think is great. My opinion, make the race cars go slowest. Because if we have to do 60 and we come up on someone at 45, a spectator doing 45, we're going to try to hold 45 and pass them. Or I'm sorry, we're going to try to hold 60 and pass them. That's tough to do. Whereas if you're a chase crew and we're doing 37 miles an hour, you can get on the gas, jump up to 80 miles an hour, get by us, and then settle down.
Well, here's the thing, and I agree with you on that too. It's less likely for us to get stuck behind somebody at 37
Right.
miles an
Exactly.
hour as well.
Exactly.
So, and that's the most frustrating thing is
Yeah.
knowing you can't go over the speed limit, but you're stuck behind somebody doing 50, and we could be doing 60 at this point. And you don't have enough to get around them.
Exactly.
Even those big
that's
old
what's
semis
frustrating.
do 37 probably.
Exactly. So I agree 100% with
Yeah,
that.
looks like we're doing 37 there. I know a lot of people are going to say, why can't we do 60? But I totally agree with SCORE on that one. So it looks like we make a left turn in the same wash we turned right in at the Baja 1000 this year. I think my brother got in for Ryan, and,
Yep.
and Cameron was supposed to get in for Team C. Run the wash down to Diablo Lake Bed.
Passing nearby to the Ox Memorial.
Yeah. All the VCPs look pretty normal through there. 59 and 60 are pretty interesting. They really want you to get on the lake bed in that particular area, and I think that's a good call because you got
I
the
can't
high
see from
road.
here. They're trying to keep you off the road. Is that
Yeah,
what's
you
going
got the
on?
high road there, and they want you to cross right at that point because we come out of those sandy whoops there after VCP 58. It gets really wide, so you could have anyone crossing that road 100 yards to the left, 100 yards to the right, and they're trying to get a run at the dry lake bed. So forcing us to cross right there at I think it's about VCP 59 is the right call. So that's really cool. And we're going
And
across the lake bed.
it hasn't been totally unusual to have weather and have moisture on the lake bed either over the last few years. I mean, sometimes it's softer, sometimes it's firmer, sometimes it's wet. Be very careful down there pre-running. Make sure you know what conditions you have before you get out on that lake bed.
Yeah.
Fastest race speed any of you have seen on the lake bed, if you guys mind sharing without embellishing?
On this one or on a lake bed?
On a lake bed.
Well, I think Harley probably got it at the min. I think he was 159. We did one.
I'm saying you
did
guys
150,
personally, all of
yeah.
you personally,
I
what's
did
the
150
fastest?
145.
Yeah.
146 at King of the Hammers last year.
Yeah. I was 152 this year, and I was in the limiter with the Gibbs motor.
That's pretty fast with
that's
off-road tires.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Especially after putting that many miles on them. You're like, hope everything's good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You go pounding through the whoop, you clobber a rock,
Yeah.
and then you're doing 150 going.
Yeah.
Get a
I hope
blowout
that
at
tie rod's
150.
good.
That's like
Yeah,
fun.
no kidding, exactly.
Pretty wild.
You guys make
That
my
thing at 137,
137
that
look
thing's moving.
slow.
I mean, it's amazing. That truck is just it's moving left to right.
The first time, back in the day, the first time I drove Pete's truck, God rest his soul, at 122 miles an hour, the truck felt like it wanted to fly. It wanted to lift
Really?
up. Yeah.
Like, oh,
I was like,
that's
the
just
first time I
amazing.
experienced that, because I had never driven anything that fast before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, going for it. I'm like, whoa, it's kind of gnarly. But
So where's our speed zone?
speaking of which, I think it's really cool
that
what
whole
SCORE's
highway
doing
Bregan.
with Pistol Pete being the honorary Grand Marshal of the San Felipe race as well. I think it's very cool.
So
lake bed.
Once
Down
we
the
get to the end of
Diablo.
lake bed, you got the little silty area. Does it look like we're
How are they
going
running through
that?
there
Yeah.
this time?
Looks like, well, you kind of go across the first big lake bed. You go by all the, where Tavo sent it across those
Yeah.
things. It gets a little tight. And then after that, we're getting off the lake bed at VCP 62. You got another mini lake bed between race mile 150 and 62. And then there's a lot of strategy that goes in behind pre-running between VCP 62 and 64.
Does
How
that look
you're-
like the same as
After
what we
the
just did
Roosters.
reverse for San Felipe last year?
Red Busby after the Roosters.
Comparing to the Baja 1000, it looks like they added VCP 63. 62 is there. I remember I swung wide, hung a left,
Yeah.
and
But
it
they-
appears they didn't like that because they added
They
63.
widened that one.
So it looks like 63 is something new. They kind of want to keep you on that line. So there's definitely some pre-running to be done there and some strategy there, all the way up to VCP 64. And then from there on, I think we're pretty much following the normal road.
Back to Morelia.
Is it on the Morelia Road, or is it on the line they've been using to the side?
Right here it says veer right.
Yeah, it
Headed
goes
towards
over that.
69. That's to keep us off Morelia Road, which is a great idea. Maybe we don't have chase vehicles coming in there on race day, but even just for pre-running, that's a locals road.
Yeah.
And we've been pounding the whoops at San Felipe all day. You see that one graded road, and what you really want to do is just send it sideways, but it's not good. So I think that's
And I think that
a great
it's
call by SCORE.
Definitely worth mentioning too. Not only are we getting off there, but you are on. There's a segment there where you're on the most popular road for the locals.
Right.
So be very careful. And when there's a speed limit in the race, you should adhere to that pre-running also. Just
Absolutely.
I think sometimes I see people going faster than I think they should. Of course, I'm not the judge and jury on that, but think about it. When you're in what's going to be a speed zone for the race, respect it as well for pre-running.
Agreed.
I couldn't agree with that more. It breaks my heart to see a 37 mile an hour or even a 20 mile an hour zone in Santa Tomas and see a pre-runner just come ripping through there. It's just like,
We got to
come
understand
on, guys,
that
we got to use our heads.
This is their backyard. I mean, these are they live there. These are the roads they use.
Yep.
We are so fortunate to be able to continue to do what we love to do down there, and it is special. So we don't want to ruin that.
And as racers, it's our job to tell our crews the same thing.
I agree. Yeah,
Chase
agree.
crews, whatever. Other people pre-running with
Yeah.
us, that just everybody needs to really tone it down.
We all get excited.
There's
I mean,
plenty of
everyone gets
open
excited, but
desert
yeah.
out there.
And I think that section you're talking about, just to let everyone know, that we do get on, I don't know if it's technically on Morelia Road, but it's on a good road where there are locals, is between VCP 67 and then right there where it says veer right. Right in between there, it's high speed, and there could be a local coming backwards.
Yep.
Thankfully, we get off to the right there and head towards VCP 69, which is a very rocky section, but it's great that they get us off that road.
Yeah. Now going into Morelia, obviously this is going to lend itself to the pit area, to the main pit area for everybody, because you can do this in one stop. So that's going
Don't
to
give
be
up your pit strategy.
Well, I mean,
No one's gonna pit twice in this race.
Exactly. So, but so it's going to be extremely crowded.
Yep.
So I mean,
and everybody needs to really watch it. Take
Yeah.
it easy getting in
Yeah.
there. Take it easy getting out of there.
Yeah, Morelia Road's going to be a very busy area this
and
year.
then
so.
after we get out of Morelia, Fish found out some really
Yeah, you got
important
some inside
information from
information?
Jose
Oh
G.
yeah, so Jose said that after Morelia, they are going to bulldoze that section because it's very torn up right now and not very passable. Well, it's passable, but it's not very fun. So, but he's going to wait until right before the race to do it, so that when everybody's pre-running, it doesn't chew it up again. So
That'd be
that was
nice.
straight from
Yeah.
Jose
They're
G.
going to grade that section right before the race?
After Morelia.
Like the week before.
I'm assuming after you leave the mountain range and after you leave that little wash and you get into
I don't know
all
exactly
those-
where. He just said after
Yeah.
Morelia. Yeah.
like probably closer. I would I would think what he's talking about is a lot of the stuff leading up to our left where we break off at Maria Road.
And remember, everybody, none of this is fact. The show is just for fun, conjecture, opinion.
That was what Jose G said, though. So.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We don't have all the
In
facts.
theory.
None of us have seen the race course yet.
It's pretty torn up, but I would say, what's interesting is from 5 years ago, I said this is just miserable. There's a good line around just about every bump in there. I say make them pre-run. Don't bulldoze it. This isn't best in the desert.
Well, further south they had. We
had shot across the bow.
There's great lines in there. Make them work for it.
Yeah. I hear you. I think that maybe the consideration would be that maybe some of the limited classes don't have the opportunity.
I mean, the bumps, they're getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. So
there's bumps in there?
Yeah. So this course also is a lot easier to pre-run multiple times. I know all of you guys are going to pre-run it a whole bunch. So just think about how much difference it's going to be from when you first pre-run, like next week maybe, versus the week right before the race. So it's going to get torn up a lot this race.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that whole along Morelia Road. Thankfully, we hang a hard left into Chinate Wash at VCP 78, and that's kind of exciting to run the entire length of Chinate Wash because for the longest time, whether we're going up it or down it, we'll take a turn into Armorias Wash.
Yeah. Which is a beautiful wash.
Yeah. Which is a great wash, but this year we...
It is neat running these washes. They're beautiful, and they're so... To me, I love... They're so much fun to run.
Yep. Yeah.
So, and it's neat that we're running pretty much all of them south.
Mm-hmm. I think it's been a long time, Cam, since we ran that... I'm going to call it the west or the top side of
the high part.
Wash.
Yeah, I agree with you.
VCP 79.
I think Jose said 10 years, if that's the same section you're talking about.
The
last time I was there was just on a motorcycle, just for fun.
Right.
Racing it has been a while. There's some tricky spots in there. We have some old stories of pre-running in the Rangers and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, one of my buddies took out his diff in there one day and just it was awesome. It was getting dark and we were out there in the middle of the night. It was
amazing all the stories you get just from pre-running alone. From all the years you've done this, and you tend to have the most fun pre-running.
Yeah, for sure. There's no comparison.
So that top half of Chinate will be interesting because it's been a while. Usually we'll come right up to about there. We make a right turn and come over here to Armorias Wash, but looks like we're going to stick in Chinate Wash where right about race mile 185 it turns into really fun because it's about 120 mile an hour wash out of that.
Downhill.
Yep.
And you can see...
Is that a highway you get on, or is that the old airport road, or what is that road down there on the bottom?
Down there at VCP 84, that's Old Porcitas Road.
Yeah, Old Porcitas.
So we're going to turn right there, just touch it for a minute, and then go down to VCP 85 and make a hard right to start heading up Watamote Wash, which is another fun wash. I think it's really cool. They run all four washes, the entire length of them too. You got Chinate, Watamote, Azufre, and then you're going to run half of Matome, but there's really no way of doing all four of those without chopping Matome in half, one way or another.
It's definitely cool to see what Jose G. They've been. Not only are the courses more difficult,
they're mixing it up.
They're mixing them up.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely are bringing some heat when it comes to difficult courses, logistics, and really having to think about where you're racing.
And I don't know what you guys think, but I actually like the fact that the San Felipe 250 has gotten a little bit longer. I actually enjoy having the more miles.
Yep. I'm good with that.
That's cool. No, Jose does an amazing job marking these courses. For the longest time, when I started driving, I grew up from 5 years old to 15 years old, pre-running all these washes. I started driving when I was 15 in SCORE, and all of a sudden it was the cookie cutter course for the first 4 years. I said, God, I'm dying to go in a Azufre and stuff, and all those washes, and thanks to Jose G, he's making it happen.
See, Mason got spoiled. He doesn't know he wasn't even racing back then. He's just like, well, this is cool.
I wasn't even allowed to pre-run back in the day. My mom wouldn't let me go down there.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
This wash has some tricky character to it, for sure. Yeah. There's some old classic lines that I think aren't, they don't do anymore. They don't mark anymore. But it's a traditional wash, but then there's some non-traditional parts of it as well.
Right. Then when you get to the top of it, it just gets really soft and a lot of whoops up there and up top and stuff. But
the colorway changes. It just looks so different.
Yeah.
One end to the other.
Yeah. Very gnarly. So then we're heading out. When you get all the way out to VCP 90, this is actually interesting, and I'm trying to process this in my head right now because from VCP 90 to 91, that looks like the more fun wash we used to run back in 2012 that we haven't ran. They ran us, I don't know if I can find the road, Maybe that's the road.
Right
but
there.
That looks
that's
like
where
a
that's just
road.
gnarly sand whoops, and then you got Jones's line where he just went
Yep,
on out
yep,
about
yep.
100 yards to
Yep.
the left and cleared it out. Well, I've been driving down that road, and it's been pretty miserable, and I've been thinking in my head, why aren't they in that wash?
Yeah.
And they're doing it this race, which is really cool. That's going to change it up. VCP 90 to 91, I believe that's a newer wash, or an old wash that we haven't ran in quite some time. And then this is really exciting when you turn left at 91, heading
looks
into, I
straight.
believe, a Zoufre wash, which
Yep.
we've ran maybe a handful of times in the last 20 years. I think 2013 San Felipe was the last time we ran it, the other direction.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we went down it. So
Make
that's
sure
gonna be really
anybody
cool.
that's pre-running, make sure you have a good plan. People know where you're at, understand where you're going, and have a good idea of how long it's going to take you to get through some of these sections. You know,
Also, especially some of these washes are super tricky, and for some of the, some stock vehicles and stuff, wouldn't be too hard to bury yourself back there. So,
Which is probably why you can see that blue line there. That's the sportsman cut that you're coming up to. You're almost to it. So sportsman classes or any class that votes to take it will
what does
go
that
across
say
the
right
blue
there?
line.
Is there a notation on that waypoint in the middle there, Luke? No,
Up here?
Back a little bit. No.
It's a VCP and a mile mark on the same
Right here?
line.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that say?
Oh,
Stay right.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where that left finger breaks off to. Maybe you do, Cameron, but I don't want to find out. I've never been
when
up
you're
there.
coming the other way, I don't know if you see that. It's interesting to see that denotation.
Right, it could definitely pull you in
noted
that
there.
wash, but you don't want to hang it right there.
Don't
so,
miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll take you a little ways away.
It'll be interesting. There'll be a lot of tiptoeing there because the lines aren't burned in. There's going to be some lines that are going to stay virgin all the way till race day because that's a newer wash, or I'm sure it's been swiped clean since we haven't ran it in about 7-8 years. So that's going to be fun, a zoo-free wash.
Yeah, I can't speak for up in the canyons, but a couple of years ago we were down there and just more down towards Old Portesias Road, and a lot of those washes just had beautiful flowers in it. And I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of spring bloom this year down there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So you get to the end of a Zoufre wash, and looks like that's a sportsman cut, so you don't have to go towards Matomi, which good deal for those that aren't up for the challenge of some of the other.
Do you know what classes take the sportsman cut? Or that's
I know
something
class
SCORE-
11 obviously does, and I think I'm pretty sure the rule is if the majority of your class votes to take it, you can. So like class 7, I know sometimes they take it, sometimes they don't. Depends on how
interesting.
many. So if there's 2 in your class and you both want to take it, you can take the sportsman cut. I know they've done that in the past.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's called BFG Sportsman Cut.
oh, is it? Is that what
Or
it says
BFG
there?
Sport Cut Fuel. So looks like I
Probably
don't know
a
what that
BFG
means.
pit. Probably
There's
the
a
BFG
BFG
pit is probably
Yeah.
right there.
So I don't know. I had to back up a little bit, but maybe it's been a long time since some of the limited classes are going to have support in there. Yeah.
There's a BFG
For quite a few
right,
miles,
yeah,
you're not
for
going to have
sportsmen.
support or a good area to get a chase truck in there. So I'd imagine that for the sportsmen or for some of the classes that need it, maybe BFG will be there. I don't know. I'm assuming. I'm guessing. But there's definitely a lot of washes. You're going to get really bad fuel mileage, and you're not near a good access road for a long time.
Yeah, definitely make sure you're paying attention to your fuel economy, and it's different in San Felipe. Let's just put it that way. I personally have ran out of fuel in San Felipe.
Yeah. That's tough. So
So then you head down to
93.
Morelia, right? Is that where this goes? Or
Matomi.
Matomi.
So you hang it right up VCP 93. You got that. I call it kind of the high road. It's not really high road, but you're up on top there through the desert. A lot of
We
big
call it
lines
the
in
yellow
there.
bumps.
Do you? Nice.
Yeah, yellow bumps up there.
A lot of big lines in there. Looks like they got some good VCPs for some of the obvious big cuts that just it's not fun. It's just
Can't
like,
go
hey,
straight.
You're just chopping off a corner. It's not that fun. So 95, 96, 97, 98, all good VCPs. And then
I'll save a couple hours.
yeah, absolutely. And then I'm anxious to see how they're going to drop us into Matomi.
I got some VCPs in there.
So VCP, 99 through 101. Interesting where they place those.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun. You drop into Matomi Wash, and then we're heading out, out towards the highway, which we've only done once in the last 5, 6, 7 years. That was the 2018 Baja 1000. We ran this. We ran out.
You had the issue with Ricky at this point, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had just passed Ricky in the wash, and then he decided to go pavement racing with me, which isn't fun. So
It wasn't too much further past this that you had your engine problem.
further
down
down.
about 50 miles later.
Yeah.
We had
Not to digress, but
Down actually out near
unheat treated
Cocos.
cam let go while we were first on the road, and that was no fun. So anyway, head
This
out.
next section, there's not too many lines right through here. It's pretty much just kind of go through it.
You know, it was crazy. For years and years, the bottom half of Matomi was where all the lines were. We dropped in there in 2018 Baja 1000, and it was swiped
freeway.
clean.
Yeah, it's clean.
You can look left 100 yards, right 100 yards with these big basketball-sized boulders.
Those
So you're going
rocks
100
are
miles
so
an
big.
hour. You drop off some of those drop-offs, and all of a sudden you see these basketball-sized rocks. It's like, whoa, I thought this was easy. So you head out. There's definitely some lines at the end there. I love to see that there's no VCPs between 101 and 102. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Be careful as you start getting close to the road. Watch out for spectators and people out there.
Yeah.
So then you're out of Matomi Wash. You're going to hang a left on the pavement, which I know a lot of people aren't big fans of pavement. However, I think this next section of pavement is worth it to run out of Matomi.
Oh man, to get to be able to come out traditionally out of Matomi is great.
Yep.
And I think also on the flip side of that, Luke, I think it's worth running this highway to get to what many people would probably consider the most dastardly, disgusting, bumpy, gnarly part of the Baja races in Old Portositas Road.
Yeah.
You know,
nasty.
it's a nasty part of the race course.
Does this one go to it?
Well, I'm anxious to see because I was looking at the paper map. And
does it not go
the
there?
last 50 miles look a little bit further east.
Oh yeah, but I think you're going to turn off the highway to Old Portositas Road.
You're going up the highway. Apologize. And then Speed Zone 5 ends. You are hitting Old Portositas Road there.
And it's nasty through. It's nasty through there.
It's nasty, yeah. Yep. VCP 103 is on it. That all looks normal. VCP 105. That's kind of where I was thinking. It looks like they're hanging off to the right. That's not traditional right there, is it, Cam?
No,
it looks like you can see the old line.
See how close we are to the highway as well. So typically we're out to the left a little bit further. You can almost you can see the line a little bit.
Yeah, you can see the line right there.
Yeah, right there. Yep.
It goes up, but we're off to the right. And so that's new. That's
so
really
not
cool.
as much. So we turn off onto Old Portositas Road, but we don't use that much of it.
Yep. We kind of parallel it. Kind of cool. We're a little bit closer to the highway. It'd be a little bit easier for
Can
your
you
chase
see where
trucks to
where they
access.
junction it off there, Luke?
And there's a bunch of access
Back here?
roads that go in there as well.
Oh yeah,
which is nice.
there it is.
Yeah, 105. They're gonna hang a right. So that's it. That's cool. They're changing it up.
What's the waypoint say there?
Veer right.
Seems logical.
Easy peasy.
That's cool. I've never been out there. Have you been out there,
I
Cameron?
don't think I have. No.
I don't remember doing that.
Maybe way back. I think my brother was saying 98, 99.
Wow.
We used to go out there.
That's going back a couple days.
Yeah. So then you're off to the right, and it looks like we're going to hang a hard left at VCP 106 to go back to Old Portositas Road, which, again, never seen it. I have no idea.
This might be one of the, if you zoom in on that, can you see, is there a road that leads into that? So just be careful when you're pre-running. See that right there?
So this could be one of the
I think the last
roads.
30 miles they said was new.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
really?
That's just be careful. Watch out for spectators. And that's right below that little the town there. There's a little town there with the Volkswagen that's on 37s or 35s, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to hang left, go back to Old Portositas Road. Hang right on Old Portositas Road. Only between VCP 107 and 108. Again, you're on Old Portositas Road and you're turning right off it again, which I think is new.
And that's
cool.
It looks like there is the traditional gypsum mine area there, right?
Yeah, the sulfur mine right up there.
We're skipping that.
On the left.
Yep.
What I don't know. Is it gypsum? Is it sulfur? What is it that they were mining?
I always called it the sulfur mine.
Yeah, sulfur.
That's how I've known it and what I've called it.
Yeah, that's how we've known it as well. But yeah, VCP 108 through 112, all new stuff to me. Through 113, I've never seen that. Looks like a lot of washes though, a lot of VCPs, so maybe not a ton of lines, but
they want
something
you to stay
new.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're going to go down with the grain, then you're going to go cross grain. Then and then when you get up at the base of those little mountains, lots of possible holes and stuff there. Everybody be really careful.
Dan McMillin just said last 20 to 30. I don't think we've ran since 2003, 2004.
Okay. I actually like the fact that in stuff like this where he puts the extra VCPs to keep. I mean, there's a reason he wants you to stay on that. So, and I'm all for that.
Yeah.
So, and not trying to be creative in those areas because otherwise he's been very good at opening up areas to let you go when it's appropriate.
And if they want you on the course, litter it with VCPs are free.
Yeah.
Lay them down. I'm not against VCPs. I don't look at it and go, wow, 200 of them. That's a
No,
bummer.
I'm with you.
No,
you know where they
Tell
are.
us
It's
where you
not
want
like
us to
they're-
be,
you don't
and
know
then
where they
open
are.
it up where we can open it up.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
And Jose did a great job with that this race. It looks like he wants us on course there, so stay on course. Headed north again. Again, still
Now, is that Old Portositas Road next to it there?
next to it right there.
Yeah.
Yep. So you're still off to the right of it. Will be interesting to see if someone tries to.
We raced somewhere off to that right past the airport. Maybe Dan's right. 03. I guess that would be.
Back in the we still talk about the airport road and the airport road, all that section a lot because back in the 90s and early 2000s, our family raced out there a lot. Looks like we're still out to the right. Not really sure what all this is, but looks fun and new. All 116, 117 VCP through 120s. A lot of new stuff.
It's neat. It's neat for the change-up. It's neat to add some new elements to this.
And then we get up here. This is where we're calling the airport. You know, obviously that is the airport road and all that stuff. It's been 20 or so years. And then at race mile 315, we're going to turn a right. And I was actually reading the SCORE press release last night, and they did reveal qualifying will be, if I read it word for word, they'll drop you some hints. It is going to be south of town, and they're going to use part of the course.
So
this
that's
is where
awesome.
they qualified 2 years ago. I would imagine that's where we're qualifying.
Which is great. I think that's.
Is it
I think
going
that's
into
great.
that
There's a
same
lot
area?
of VCPs right there
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
So you make it right at 315, and then all this right here is that
So
short
that
course.
is that the old airport road there, right?
Right here.
Below it.
Yep.
There's a lot of big holes out there, you guys. Be
Yeah,
very
this road here.
careful.
Yeah.
Be very careful if you're out there.
There's some washouts for sure.
Yeah, do not assume anything. But yeah, it looks like it goes right into that short course area, right?
Yep. So we go up into the short course area where we call it, across the highway from the pink arch, or I think
Yep.
that's what's up there.
We call it the golf course because they look like they started a golf course out there and never finished it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 10 VCPs in that couple miles right there.
Yeah. And I think they did this section. They kind of loop back and forth. I think it'll be cool for the fans. I think a lot
no
of people.
speed zone, so maybe watered area. Is
I
there
don't see a
in
speed
there?
zone.
No speed zone. No speed zone. So I know right up here where we make a left at 126, that was all part of the qualifier 2 years ago. It kind of looks very similar to the qualifier 2 years ago. VCP 128, 129 through 133. And then that'll probably be littered with spectators. They'll have some man-made jumps there, and that'll be really cool. So then we're going to head back out. I'm not sure where we're headed. Looks like that's not
Overland, Old Road.
not Old Perseus Road, but
Nope.
then we head
Really close to the
It's
beach.
a straight line,
Yeah.
so there's something there.
back north, yeah. Head back north on this road. And see
Yeah,
how it
coming
goes.
out right near the
it's
hotel
neat.
there.
It's
so
neat how close we are
different,
to the highway there.
Right next to the highway.
Almost the whole way back.
Yeah.
There's going to be people all along
Yeah,
that whole
yep.
section. Yeah.
Across this road, this is the last OXO in town right there. That's where that access road is, leaving town. And then looks like we're joining back the outbound course there at VCP 140. Do a couple sweeping sand turns, high speed through here. This section, we talked about it earlier, but just going back to it, in my opinion, I think everyone really needs to be careful in there. When you go underneath that bridge, even after that bridge, if you were coming outbound, there's a jump there. And I think we've all seen the video of Tavo hit it, and many other people hit it, and a lot of spectators. It's kind of the new zoo road. It's very scary.
They're stacked on both sides of the course too, and it's pretty scary.
Yeah. It looks like we head back into town.
And you finish on the
and,
Malecon.
finish on the Malecon, which is awesome.
And there we have it.
Yeah.
There you go.
What a
2020 San Felipe 323.
326.7.
26. So are we excited?
Oh yeah.
What do you
Like I
think,
said,
Adam?
I love San Felipe, so that's why it's about the one Mexico race we do a year, just because I love the town. You go down pre-run, you're always in the same spot, and the people are great, and it's honestly a fun race. You have so many lines to pick from, and you can make your own. So that's why we go down there. We enjoy it.
Sometimes it's hard to decide in the morning. Like you get a plan, right? We develop a plan, then you're like, oh, maybe I want to appear on something else. Like there's so many different possibilities. It's crazy
Oh, you
where
can-
you can go during the day and where you can go pre-run, and it's just sometimes it's mentally taxing.
Oh yeah, you can spend all day in one section, just doing circles.
Yeah.
I think my dog wants to go outside. or something. Someone just walked her though.
Pre-running opens up this Saturday
The 14th.
or the 14th.
There you go. The 14th.
Mason, you excited to get down there?
Yeah,
What's
I'm
your,
really excited.
What's
to
your
get down
pre-run
there.
plan? You gonna get down when it opens? You gonna wait till race week?
No, I gotta wait to the week of the race because I have class. So we'll go down on I think Sunday or Monday and pre-run. Monday, Tuesday. After qualifying on Wednesday, we'll pre-run, and then Thursday, and then do the start on Friday.
Let me ask you this, guys: sprint race or got to hold it together? I mean, is this more of a sprint than the Mint? Equal style conservation?
See ya.
The dog just
It's
opened the door. by herself.
The dog just did it. I was witness to that one.
For trophy truck, I'd say it depends what you got, what equipment you're running, what engine you have, which transmission you have, whether you're all-wheel drive, whether you feel like you can make up time, whether you have the Gibbs motor where you say, hey, I got to hold that rear gear together, and at the end, if I can go, I can't. Or if you need to go, you can go.
Yeah.
If you have a different truck, I think Cameron and I's truck, some of the not older technology, but trucks that have the smaller 454 motors and stuff, the solid drivetrain. I think we're gonna have to push those all day. And that's what I experienced at the Mint with all-wheel drive and racing against Ryan. If you're in one of those smaller engine trucks and the trucks that were built back in 2012, 2013, you're gonna have to wheel it to keep up. There's no doubt there.
What about you?
I feel like all of the SCORE races have become more of a for the trophy trucks. It seems like the pace has been pretty crazy. Looking at this race course and the different obstacles and everything, I think there's a degree of making sure you get towards the middle end before it's really all that fast. It also depends on what the washes look like.
Yeah.
We could get there and there could be laid down, and it could just be really fast slot car type course. We've seen that more recently. Some of the stuff that Jose G barked at the 1,000 was less rough and more fast slot car style once we got to the race. So we'll see what the washes look like. I haven't been in the washes in a little bit, and we'll see what kind of weather looks. If it's smoother at the end, then I think it's more of a fast pace for the trucks all day. If it's has a little bit more of a bite to it at the end, you might see people conserve, because we can all say we've all done it and we've all seen it happen. People drop transmissions, gears, all kinds of stuff happens in the first 40 miles of San Felipe.
Yeah.
Now you add in some of the stuff that they brought into the course, especially that Borrego section coming back down.
Yep.
There's a lot of big rough out there.
Qualifying now, so you're going to be running hard in qualifying.
Yep, that's going to tax the car a lot.
Yep.
And they moved the qualifying too, day-wise, right? We were qualifying on
Wednesday. Is
We're
it?
qualifying
Wednesday.
on Wednesday, and I heard because Jose would like to run a 2-day tech, Thursday and Friday, which that's great. We don't want to sit in tech for 8 hours anyway,
Yeah.
so it's early, but we can go.
makes it harder for the teams,
We
bring
can qualify
everybody
and
down.
We can go pre-run Thursday.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's gonna
more
be-
for the economy,
Yeah.
locally, more racers in town.
And it's big. I mean, those cities rely on us coming in for these events for their goodwill. So I mean, and I'm all for it.
The fans are so welcoming at San Felipe, and
They
the
are.
people treat the racers so well. It's just a privilege to be able to go there and race. And overall, San Felipe and Baja in general is just it's like going home to go racing. Very cool.
Well, you figure how much time we spent, away from our families, which it sucks in a sense. But we spent quite a bit of time down there. Quite a bit of our lives, all of our lives, have been down in Baja.
For sure. My dad raised me down there, and unfortunately, you do miss some family functions and some things. And I have a really key family thing I'll be missing by being down there. So I'm kind of torn the heartstrings a little bit, to be honest. But committed to racing all year, racing for the championship. Let's SCORE. Bobby Picoy is doing the same in the number 14 truck. So we're excited about being in San Felipe. I know you guys are too. Any predictions? Any final comments, thoughts? Any quick lines? Something to say?
Adam, you want to
You know, that's hard. You always have your fast guys. Andy's did he do it 2 years in a row? I know last year, he killed it. What's up?
I might have been Rob.
Okay. Yep. Those two guys are there, but we've had close, in years past, back in 11 and 12. So hopefully we can pull it off this year with our, head of steam going into it. So
We
I'm
wish you
looking
the
forward to it.
best. I mean, you got some wins under your belt
That's
already
right.
this year.
We're
hell of a start to the season.
yeah,
man.
we're gonna give it hell down there.
Luke, we wish you well as well, even though you've already had a banger start for the year, a second and a first. I don't know if you need any more right now, but if you want to finish 6th or so, it's all good with us.
No, my heart's in Baja. I'm unbelievably stoked to win King of the Hammers and win the Mint 400, and those are huge goals of mine. Baja.
I'll be honest with you.
Is going to be amazing this
We
year.
won a couple races in Baja, but San Felipe is the race we want to win. That's the race. If I could pick any race to win right now, I would win San Felipe. That's the one I really
over
want.
the Baja 1000.
At this particular moment,
He already
in
won
time,
one.
At this moment,
After San Felipe.
He's won one of those before.
500.
But it's hard to say, because the one you really want is the Peninsula Run.
Oh,
And this year
absolutely.
we have an opportunity to race the entire peninsula. And I think if there was any race that, as a racer, that I would want, would be that one. I guess this would be secondary to that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Mason, what about you?
I'm just excited to go down and have that 100 plate on the car and just get the chance to get back racing again. because we took short course off this year just to focus on Mexico to go down and defend. So should be pretty fun and pretty excited. So.
Right on. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Ryan, any closing thoughts?
No, I'm ready to get back after it. It's nice that that we only have 2.5 weeks ish between the mint and
unless you're the guy that has to prep your car.
Unless you're the team.
Poppy says we're done.
Poppy's ready to go. He's done. So I'm excited to get back down there. I'm excited to get back in the truck. I'm excited. Baja's a special place. Holds a special place in my heart. So I'm ready to get after it.
Everybody, be safe. Use your head, think ahead, and please pass that on to your crew, spectators as well that are watching. Be smart, know where the race cars are going, and everybody just take it down a notch on the chase roads out there, and safe and smart is the way to go. Thank you, Mason Cullen, Luke McMillin, Adam Householder, Ryan Arciero. We want a special thanks to Fish of Fishgistics for making it all happen. I'm Cameron
Thanks all you guys for coming.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Cameron Steele saying see you later from Baja HQ. Feel free to come by and buy some wheels and tires or something like that. We're here. We're hanging out.